What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back again to CKQ Podcast. I'm your host, Clement. And today we have a great panel, a full stack panel actually today. But before that, in the description, we have the whole guest list and all of their info, social media, and possibly more. But for later on, you're going to get to that. But first, please do me a favor and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Every Wednesday, I do a live with different random people, some reoccurring guests, but there's always going to be interesting questions with interesting topics. So, like the channel. But before we get into the questions, let's actually introduce the panel. Go ahead, shout yourself out.
Black Wall Street Trading LLC, aka John. You can find my YouTube channel there. We can talk about firing your boss through trading equities.
There you go. All right.
Peace, and love. My name is Montavious Javar. My YouTube page is Law Library, Audiobooks and Discussions.
I love it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Anna, and you can find me on Instagram at anna.buto, and I am an abundance mindset coach, and I help entrepreneurs with their mindset.
Well said.
Hi, everybody. I'm Evangelist Empress, and I am the host of Faith Walk Life Talk podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Faith Walk Life Talk, and we talk about all things women and all things Bible.
I love it. I love it. Returning guest.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? It's Xavier, a.k.a. X the Professor. Watch out for Bodega Barber coming soon. Also, watch out for Peace, Love, and Hair Grease also coming soon.
Awesome. Also, the creator of that fire little intro song.
Yes, sir.
Guy's a man. Last but not least, just made it in time. You're muted.
I should undo that. Hi, I'm Kristen. I don't create content, but I'm here and I like to talk.
Awesome. Guys, you guys all saw the questions. We're here to discuss. So, where is it? We're going to do a little drum roll. First question. People that sell their sex for money, should they expect to be marriageable? People that sell their sex for money, should they expect to be marriageable? Octavius, we'll start with you since you didn't want to offend anyone. Start doing this. You're muted.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Well, that figures.
Well, you didn't offend anyone.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Now that you guys can hear me, I know, right? I think having a high expectation for marriage is good, but like I would say that a woman or a dude would probably have to be very secretive or get with someone who doesn't have like a high standard for their own life. Because thinking about it, most guys and females, they start having sex like what? I'm gonna grace them with age 16, and women start wanting to settle down like around 30 to 35, so that's around like 20 years, to where they're pretty much like career whores. And so, with that being said, that doesn't take away from their side job as a career woman. But they do this life that's filled with promiscuity, and then they want to try to go and feel entitled to something that a woman who is more modest, well preserved, and they want to try to get the same thing that they get, which I think is an error on their part and on society's part, only because. Like, I mean, I guess they've been hyped up to think that they deserve this. Even the guys think that we deserve certain things that was never traditionally so. And I compare it to like someone who's been like a career criminal, robbing everybody. They went to school, robbed their teachers. And now after 20 to 30 years of being a career criminal, just getting out of jail, they're like, I deserve to be a lawyer. I deserve to have a Fortune 500 business. I deserve to be this big CEO of this corporation where I can make something of myself. Well, you can have the expectation, but it doesn't mean it is actually going to happen because of that long road that you put in. You have a career of this. Now you have to live beyond that career, starting at ground zero. And if you haven't put the
interesting.
time in,
So should they expect?
not at all. Well, let me retract that. I'll push anyone to desire it, but to expect it it would take a lot of work, and I would say it would take so much work only because you put so much in. It's like somebody who, like, let's say,
Wait, hold on. I want to get to the panel first before we start throwing the ideas. I like where you're going, but let's get to everyone first.
All right.
Cool. Anna.
I think this is a very interesting question because the thing is it's really around the wording. So I'm all about wording. I'm all about, well, whatever it is, but it's like, should they expect? And I believe that deep down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage. I think the question comes down to, if they do want to get into marriage, then I believe that, yes, maybe there is somebody out there that will accept their past. And it's really about just analyzing mostly the now situation, not so much as the past situation. So we talk about somebody who sells sex for money, but yet right now in our society, we have people who actually have sex with multiples of partners, on and on and on and on and on, and live like that. And yet we wouldn't have the same expectations from them, or it's not so much as viewed as the same thing as if they actually exchange sex for money. So I think there's a very bigger conversation around that, and I believe it really comes down to how that person who has done.
So I guess, sorry to cut you off. I just want to throw this in there. I guess I should have probably phrased it in there as well, because the whole idea is something like OnlyFans. If you've done something like OnlyFans or something like pornography,
Mm-hmm.
should you expect to be marriageable after that?
Well, I believe if you want to get married someday, I believe you could.
Okay.
Simple.
Yeah. John?
Hell no.
Going against the grain. I love it.
Man, you know that, bro. Dudes be freaking out if a girl tell them they slept with 16 dudes. This girl she slept with 16 dudes in one day. Okay, like, you might as well, if you go marry, you might as well you know what? Don't even worry about the number. It doesn't matter. She's had the reconstructive surgery that she needed, and you good. You good. Just don't subscribe to any porn sites, any OnlyFans. Don't take her out in big major cities. Y'all need to move to the country where people don't even have internet. You'll be all right. Go ahead with it. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Dudes be too tripping over the past way too much. What? I bet you're thinking about him now, ain't you? But how do I do it? What about me? You think I could have made it in the point? Man, come on. They'll be in one big old toxic mess. But whatever.
So no, right?
No.
No.
You chose money over marriage. That's what you did.
All right. Empress?
I feel like people have to have the space to evolve. And I feel like people who sell sex for money have many reasons why they do it. Some people will sell sex for money to put themselves through school and to reinvent their lives. And I believe that there's somebody for everybody. Maybe the average man can't handle someone who has a seedy past, but people evolve. I know people who've had, a hairy past that have reinvented themselves and now they're respectable. They found someone in their lives that love them, and they are married, and they're successfully married. So I don't believe that because you sell sex for money that you should not expect to be married. I believe that you should expect to find, if you want to be married, expect to find your soulmate and not just somebody to marry. Because when you find your soulmate, then that person's going to accept all of you and your past, and they'll be okay with it.
Your soulmate. How likely do you think it is that most people will find their soulmate?
That's a once in a lifetime, if ever in a
I love
lifetime.
the caveats. I love throwing caveats. So.
People
Yeah.
never find their soulmate. Some people walk right by their soulmate and they don't understand that they just, you hear the old adage, the one that got away. So a lot of times people have come in contact for a brief moment with their soulmate, and they didn't value that time, that opportunity. And then sometimes you just know, and you're with your soulmate. And when you find your soulmate, the past doesn't matter. From what you have at that moment and what you build going forward is what's important. So I believe that even if you sell sex for money, in this moment, that you can still find a marriage that is healthy, thriving, and somebody that will love you and accept you.
Xavier?
I mean, I agree with what most people on the panel have been saying, is that the fact that if you want to expect to be married, sure, you can expect to be married, but Octavius brought up the example of a criminal. I feel like if you're a sex worker, maybe you can get with someone who's an ex-criminal who has a CD past just like you, and maybe you can come together and create a happy marriage. But I read an article which I shared with you I think last week, where it was, I think, a woman who was a stripper who had trouble dating men, whereas as they'll be fine with her career choice in the beginning, because there's something like a fantasy where it's a sexy, it's a sexy fantasy where, I think every guy or most men would probably date a stripper on a short-term basis, but probably not on a long term, unless of course you have a CD pass as a man as well, and you really don't care. But in that article, the woman kept on using the words like insecure and immature, because as the relationship went on and became more serious, the men tend to bring up her line of work. And at the end of the day, I think that I think jealousy is a normal feeling. What you do with that feeling is up to you. Obviously, you should keep it under control, but it's much harder to keep that under control if your woman's giving men lap dances every night, or
Giving them more than that.
or yeah, exactly. Because it's like, at the end of the day, if you have a price on your lap dances, you have a price on your sex. So
Yeah, it's called a champagne room.
yeah. Well, I mean, we all heard the Chris Rock song. There's no sex in the champagne room.
It's only sex in the
What
champagne.
about men dancers? What about male dancers? I think.
Oh, please. That is such a small minority.
It's a small minority, but I don't think male dancers can expect to have, like, I mean, at the end of the day, you can expect to want to marry someone and expect to marry someone, but for that person to be of high quality, if you're a stripper or a sex worker, you're not going to get a high quality man. And if you're a male stripper, you're not going to get a high quality woman. You know what I mean? You can, if you're a male stripper, maybe you get a female stripper,
Or a man.
or a man. But
2020.
Yeah, I guess you can, because I think Anna and Empress both, said that sure, anyone should be able to expect marriage.
I'm seeing a reoccurring theme here, but I'd like Chris. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'd like Kristen to give her answer.
Oh, well, I mean, it's gonna kind of agree with everyone. I just think that, whether it's an OnlyFans, a stripper, a sex worker, you have to be aware that there are going to be some people that, are not going to want to date you, or not going to want to be. You do shorten your options. Like, I'm going to use as an example, I'm bisexual. There are some men who do not want to date me because I'm bisexual. I should shorten my options because that's just, unfortunately, that's just the way people are. And it's not a bad thing. Like, they just can't handle it. And then you don't want them in your life because, like, you've grown as a person. If they can't understand that, then that's fine. That's whatever. But at the end of the day, your options do get smaller from that.
I think you got a fan.
I thought being bisexual broadens your options as opposed to.
Oh, well, with women, yeah, but with men, no. Either men like to fetishize the fact and be like, oh yeah, threesome, though, that I'm monogamous, not, bisexual does not mean I have sex with two people at the same time. Bisexual means I find both people attractive, but like both sexes attractive. But no, there are some men who are like, well, how do I know you won't cheat with a woman? Well, if I'm choosing you, then either I'm choosing you or I'm not choosing you. Like,
so I will say this, because that's what I noticed the reoccurring theme was here. The men were pretty much like, nah, fam, I can't have that.
Right.
Yeah. And the women were a little bit more like, oh, it's understandable. You could possibly find someone that could love you. Right. I will say this: men in general, when it comes to dating, we are very territorial creatures.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, we want the girl on Instagram that everyone is liking because she's got a bad body. Like, we would like her for one night.
One night. That's it.
We would like the pic, but we wouldn't wife the chick. That's the best way to say it.
Yeah,
all right. You like that? You like that? All right.
Can I say that?
Like the pic, but won't wipe the chick.
But there's innocent women. There's women out here that are wholesome. They're nice looking women. They're professional, and they're still not married. They're not getting married. The men are still not marrying them. So
that's because they fell into that. That's because they fell into that. I don't believe in gender roles. I'm confused about who I should be dating. I want to be a feminist. That's what got them.
I challenge that. I believe that there's a direct connection with men unwilling to commit, and they don't find any reason why they won't marry you.
I don't think that's necessarily true. Only because it's a lot of things that push a man from even desiring commitment, especially whenever women are so open. Not in general, but there's so many women who are open with their legs. So they're like, okay, this is a thought. I don't know if I can trust her, or she doesn't like chivalry anyway, or she belittles me because her mother taught her this. And there's a lot of different conflicts that have to be thought of. It's not just simply men don't want to commit. Women also don't want to commit. And if I can, I did have a response to almost everybody because I like to respond to the things that people say, if possible.
Yeah, if keep it short, concise, and sweet.
I will. All right. So with Anna, she was saying it's not so much on the past, it's where you are now. But there's a saying that goes, if you don't know the history, you're going to repeat history. So if this person has a shaky history with all these crazy things, sex issues, porn, whatever it is, issues that they're dealing with prior to you, it's good to know so you can know if you need to be committing to this situation. That's the issue. We have issues with vetting, making sure to check out that background check. And I completely agree with John, man. I would feel uncomfortable walking around with somebody on the street and they'd be like, oh, that's her right there. You remember the one with the cup?
every guy's nightmare right there.
You know what I'm saying?
And I will say
have you actually ever seen that happen though?
Right. Yeah.
Is that real?
Yes, I'm gonna go on the record.
Like I've been in.
I'm gonna go on the record. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Because John, it looks like you're saying yes as well.
Yes,
Xavier, it looks like you're saying
no. Sometimes you see somebody
the video.
You see somebody dating a girl that you might have been with, or that your friend might have been with, or that everybody's been with, and then you see some guy, walking in the mall with her or whatever. And at the end of the day, if they're happy, that's on them. But and I'm not a disrespectful person where I'm gonna make a big deal about it. But I think everybody, it's like you said, every man's nightmare is to be walking somewhere public and you see guys whispering in each other's ear, pointing at your girlfriend, or your wife, or whatever the case may be.
It happened with me one time when I was in the army. I was dating a stripper. Who would have thought?
You
And you
didn't.
didn't, and you
I
didn't know?
dated a stripper. Well, it was fun. I mean, what can I say?
Wait, did you
But
know
I
she was a
dated-
stripper, or you were unaware?
Well, she told me at the time about her stripper past, and I was like, it's whatever. I don't care. I mean, I only had one intention at the time, and just to be honest, it was about. I mean, I wanted something that was easy access, pretty much. So, like I walked around and people knew her.
She was quite
Um,
successful.
even my guys that was in my unit was like, hey man, hey Torrance, hey man, this girl, I saw her at the strip club. Like, I'm like,
Oh, you did, huh?
so like I know how it feels. But to
I will
Evangeline,
say this that women want a man with a future, and men want a woman without a past.
That's
Or
Yeah,
a,
that's a good quote.
unrealistic.
modest
It's-
past, like
a modest past, yeah. So in this generation, we can say more a modest past,
yeah,
a modest past.
That's not realistic. I don't think you can know anybody's past, the full story. And I'm just gonna let you guys know that for women, you know what they will allow you to know. You will never know a woman's full past. And so if you are a man that's going to dig in somebody's past, and that's going to be the prerequisite,
I
whether
think that's
you
unhealthy,
commit,
honestly.
I think
Yeah.
that you are destined for a disaster from that point. Because everybody has a past, and maybe what their past wasn't anything to them, and it may be like a monumental thing to you. So I'm just going to put on record that men, you're never going to know a woman's complete history. You're going to know what she's going to allow you to know, and you're going to have to love the person that's in front of you and be okay with that, because that's what it is. And a woman is never going to know all of the women that you've had encounters with. And,
I
and if
prefer not to
well,
ask.
I don't
Well,
think
we
that
have to go there. We
true,
have to
'cause
go to that tangent. I would love to go to that tangent. We've been
Which
talking
one?
a lot about women exchanging money for sex, but we haven't talked about the other way around.
right, men
You're
do
putting up
it
your
too.
standards of women, like women needs to be proper, needs to be whatever it is. But how about men?
Exactly.
I
What do you
agree.
mean? Are you
But-
talking
yeah,
about men selling sex or men buying sex?
Both.
Both.
Well,
Because
Okay, so
men,
here-
they're
you
just
think about it.
hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, ladies. Men buying sex is all men.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
Well,
Every man pays for it one way or another.
If you think about it,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Unless we going Dutch. Who you think
No.
paid for the date?
yep,
Who you think bought the outfit?
yep,
Who you think picked the location?
yep.
Who came and picked you up? I'm
What?
sorry, a normal date costs more than a hooker. A normal date costs more than a hooker. You can get a hooker for an hour for $100. You can't go out for no $100 unless you're a cheap date. That's
No,
just what I'm
that's-
saying.
that's-
You might want to
that's
stick to
not-
sell effect.
I completely agree with
All
that.
men
because-
buying sex. If you don't
Okay.
believe me, if you're married, go home and tell your wife you no longer have a job and you will not work again, and she gonna have to foot all the bills. Let me know how long it is before she divorce you.
And that's why with most relationships, the woman, they focus on a man's ability to provide and to be able to gift to them if possible. And
That's why men are no
like
longer
what you
for real.
say, I definitely agree. But anything that's below now, and this doesn't include engagements, but anything that's below marriage is you're pretty much selling your body, and he's buying your body. As a boyfriend, it's strictly what those two words is: a boy and a friend, or a man and a friend. And what happens is people would say all day, "Oh no, I don't believe in friends with benefits." But you got this friends that's in your house that you're having sex with. You don't have any ring, you don't have anything that says that this relationship is established other than you having sex. So like
I will say this. I will say this. Sorry, Empress. I will say this. A man that has had a colorful past, women might still pick him solely because if he can provide. If he can provide, that's what women technically, like, most of the time look for. as a
They tend to
majority.
pick him
But
over-
Women are gonna
men look for pretty much like the very little promiscuity.
Exclusivity.
Correct.
And, yeah.
So that's why for
'Cause we're more
men
of
it
a
matters so
protecting
much.
type, more of a
But
controlling
flipping the
type.
opposite way around, it might matter, but not to the same effect as it will matter for women. Because
Right.
women look for men to, I mean, listen, this is a panel. I want to hear you guys' opinions, but
Mhm.
women look for men to be the providers.
Hmm. I agree with that.
So if he had a colorful history, that does not mean he cannot provide. That just means he had a colorful history.
That's what that means.
When men step into a relationship or into a marriage, we expect to be the providers at all times. We don't expect the day that we shouldn't be the providers. It's only now in history that women can provide for themselves as well as for a family. But even then, most women still want a man that could provide.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I agree.
what do men want from women? That just not to have a past? So you're just buying our body and body count? Like what's the argument for why do you go after a woman then?
Well,
Right.
I mean, in a sense, I mean that's like a prerequisite. A woman and a man both are giving their resume to each other, and they're looking like, okay, so you got this many people. Let me see within this amount of area. Okay, that's where your range is. I might be okay with this. Okay, you don't like this, you don't like that. Well, I like these different
Men
things.
don't want to admit that as much as like men are the providers, we're the emotional like providers. We are there for you emotionally almost all of the time. And a woman will sit there and be like, hey, you shouldn't be treated like that by this, that, and the other thing. Like we give you the
Well-
backbone a lot of the time. You see a strong man, there's usually a strong woman right behind him.
And
Exactly.
I agree, but like
So we're still providing just in a
if
different way.
well, yes,
you guys
a woman
keep saying-
a woman definitely is supposed to, I wouldn't say be a backbone, because that means that she's holding up everything. I mean, the man is the strong one. He should be holding up everything. The woman should be helping. And if you believe in the Bible, then I'm going to say she's supposed to be that helper or that helpmeet. And she's not holding the man up, because that's going to get too stressful. Not only does she have to hold up the man, now she also has to hold up the house and the children. So I think it would behoove me to say no, like that's not how it's supposed to be. And if any woman says something to the nature of, let's say, something to the nature of a woman is just, she's supposed to be, she's overly emotional. She's emotional. Like you have to really look at why all these things are there. Like if she's the emotional stronghold for the house, what happens on those certain times of the month? What happens whenever she's not feeling too good? Like you have to, it's a community thing. It's a man and a woman and being fitly together, not just, oh, the woman or the man is most important. I think like in conversations like this, like it's all about finding, it's like matchmaking rather than, oh, the man or the woman is more important, or or we could talk about like the strengths of these two issues and how someone with a horrible background can get somebody who can have that they want, or
Well,
something to the nature of what they want.
So are we talking about marriage? Because if you're talking about the dynamics in a marriage, I don't know who's married on the panel, but I've been married 21 years. So
21 years.
21 years as of Friday.
Congrats,
And what I
congrats,
most
happy anniversary.
is what I was is when I was looking for someone who was marriageable, and I dated prior to my husband. I had my share of dates or whatever, but when I look for someone who I said I want to create a life with, I look for three things: a provider, a protector, and a promise keeper. And when I say those were the three foundations or the three pillars that I look for in a husband. Not that I wasn't able to contribute financially, but I needed to know that he could take care of me, because you mentioned the Bible, right? You mentioned that, and in that there are we have distinct roles. in the Bible, and I'm a believer of the Bible. We have distinct roles. You have your
Absolutely.
provider, your protector, you have your nurturer, and I find that when we operate and function in our roles, then we are jointly fit. It's like driving in your own lane, right? And it can work, but I think we're talking from a traditional perspective. I think that this new generation has many different approaches to relationships, marriage. I was looking at a segment of the Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett and her daughter, and they were talking about polyamorous relationships. And that term was kind of introduced to me, where you have this love is love, and I'm with this one and then I'm with that one, and it
I
can
mean,
work.
but with all of that, is it shocking that there's a lot less married people nowadays?
I do believe, and I will say it again, there's a direct correlation with men not willing to commit. And I know there's a lot of men on here that's saying, oh, well, the woman has to be this way. No, no. I know there's women that are wholesome. I know there's women that are holding it down, and they're not, and they're being dated, and men are not committing. They don't have to commit, because there's a lot of women out here that are providing for certain needs, where they don't feel like they have to go the next mile and commit. And I don't care what you guys are saying. That is a reality, that there are women out here that are marriageable. They're not on the pole. They're not OnlyFans or any of that. And they're holding it down. They're raising sons. They're raising children. They have careers. They have
Well,
degrees.
I
They
have
have
to
their own
hold
homes.
on. Let her finish.
They have their own homes. They have 401k and stocks, and they cannot find a man. And no man can tell me they can't find a good woman. It's just that they have too many options, and so therefore there's no need to pick.
All right, so if I may,
I'm out
'cause
here.
you said a whole lot that I really want to respond to, but I didn't get a chance. Because
Because
what you said, you came out with cognitive dissonance. You said, I don't care what any of you men say, but it's a question about men and what men like. And you're like, no, that's not true. And you talk about how men don't want to commit because they have so many options. Yes, compared to certain women, I would say, like the women that you explained. You said they have degrees, they have children, they have a son or a daughter, they have this. That's not important. We don't care about none of that. But we do care about it as far as responsibilities for ourselves. Like, one thing that a lot of adults or men and women don't understand is that everything that you add on to yourself is another responsibility. If I get a wife, I have that as a responsibility, and I do have a wife. She was actually on this show before, but
was it Miss Help Me?
Miss Help Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so like, I add on this wife, that's a responsibility. One, I have a child, another responsibility. I get a dog, another responsibility. I get a car,
house.
I get a house. All of these different responsibilities, guys. Whenever he get with this woman who already has all 5 of these, he goes from 1 to 6. And one day he's like, no, I don't want that. And why should he be forced, or why would women want to say, oh, this woman is good, she does this, she does that, but it's not what men want. And we talk about modern.
No. I'm gonna say that.
Let Kristen answer.
I'm gonna say that I've seen plenty like women who like don't have like a kid and stuff like that, but who they are with a man. They're with a man for 5, 6, 7 years. Exactly. The man gets too comfortable because she's already providing for him, and he gets too comfortable and doesn't want to commit because he doesn't have to anymore, because she can provide for herself. He's doing everything that he wants to do, and he doesn't have to commit because he's getting everything he wants. But also, as a woman, we have to show that we're marriageable. But once we do, there's no need to marry us because they've already seen it, and that's what they're getting.
Exactly. That's
is that on the man, or is that on the woman for giving too much of herself too early?
She does have a point. She does have a point.
Again, she's made 2 strong points. The first thing she ever said was that men and women, and you and I talked about this, Clement, on the phone just the other day. Men were made for women. Women were made for men. Without a woman, we are off balance. We're too much of one thing. Without a man, a woman is too much of one thing, and that we don't even make decisions the same. A woman makes emotional decisions, a man makes logical decisions. You put them two together, you got a good decision. But if you just one keep speaking on emotion, that's probably going to be a bad decision, depending on what it is. If you get one who thinks it's logical, he can be tricked. She can't be tricked. She's going to follow her instincts. She's going to listen to something you say. She's going to remind you of some things.
The zodiac sign.
You'll be able to talk. So yes, she's exactly right about that. She's going to hold us down. Then what she just said goes back to you don't treat a boyfriend like a husband. You don't treat a girlfriend like a wife. If you don't know you're going to marry this woman, I treat my my fiance.
I agree with you on that.
Going to marry. Facts. Like I know we're going to marry. So there's no doubt about that. But I see too many couples. They live together. They do all these things together. Yes. And then the sad thing is, you spent all this 7 years invested with this dude. If he go out and get killed in a car accident,
you get nothing.
That he got with another woman will get your Social Security. You don't have no rights. You can't even talk about life support. You live with him. You have the closest emotional connection with this man, other than his mother. And the first person they're going to go to is, if he's unmarried, his mother.
Absolutely.
His oldest child. You will never get asked anything, because then they're going to go to siblings. They're going to go through all blood relatives, because you are nobody. You're either married or you're a girlfriend.
And that's what even happened with DMX situation, from what I hear. Certain people in his family couldn't get certain things from his estate simply because he wasn't married to certain people. But to get to what she was saying, if you pay attention to what she was saying, she's like, there's plenty of good women she went on a list talking about what the woman provided and how the man got comfortable. And I'm like, okay, doesn't that sound like the improper role anyway? Like women love to
wait, hold on. Because this is the perfect time to segue into the next question.
Okay.
Because the next question. With more women acquiring businesses and degrees to be providers, does modern dating need to be reevaluated?
I would say, I guess since I don't remember what I was going to say, but I'll just respond to that. I would say it's conditional. I mean, because I see no issue with the woman being about her business. My wife, she has her own business that we've been building. I've seen successful women who are either married or not married within the scripture. I think it really comes down not to evaluating modern dating, but doing first self-evaluation, find out what you want in life, and then if you find a mate, evaluate them, making sure that we're both on the same path. Otherwise, it's going to be chaos. And nobody really is seeking for chaos. So yeah, and also it comes to the structure. Someone spoke on earlier traditional marriage or traditional relationships, but the discussion is modern relationships. If somebody wants modern, hey, go for the modern style. If somebody wants the traditional, go for the traditional style. You'll probably get someone who's more modest, more well-kept, and more protected in the traditional style, which was, I would say, like arranged marriages, or you speak to the father or to the older brother first before you even try to get with her to find out who she is, what type of person she is. So, I think it really comes down to a person's prerogative. It depends.
I don't think acquiring businesses or degrees has any.
Hold on. I want to go get everyone's quick opinion, and then we'll do this shindig. All right. But before that, I'm gonna drop the link to the chat inside of the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the link to the stream inside of the chat. Anyone who has any kind of disagreements or questions, or to anyone in the panel, please hop in. But for every live stream, you can only ask one question. So choose wisely. Okay, Kristen, you're up.
This is kind of like a non-answer. I with every relationship is different. So in the sense of modern dating is different than traditional, yeah, but I think every relationship is different from the next. So it's just what you and your partner want and what you're looking for that needs to be talked about. Like, so it's like, I don't know. It's what you two. I guess I kind of agree. I forget your name in the white shirt.
Octavius.
Yeah, I guess I kind of agree with you. It needs to be evaluated what you want, what you're going for, and what your partner wants, and what your partner's going for. And then if you guys are on the same path, you know, that's how you like. That's who you should be with and get together. And then that's yeah.
X.
I mean, I kind of agree with what both Kristen and Octavia say, but I kind of, you know, I don't want to just go around agreeing with everything that's being said. So it like, you know, in essence, like me personally, I don't want to be in a relationship where the woman's providing. Like I like, you know, me personally, I don't necessarily want to go for a super traditional relationship like Octavius mentioned, where I gotta go to her father and her older brother just to date her, just to get to know her. I feel like that's a little too much. Now I will go to her father and ask for her hand in marriage if I feel like that's where the relationship is gonna go. But and I guess it goes to the point where, you know, to each his own, and you choose what you want to do. But me personally, I'm not saying that I wouldn't go for it, because if I meet a woman that I thought, you know, that I'm in love with, and she just so happens to be, you know, making $200,000 a year, and then, you know, much more money than I'm making, or whatever the case may be, and she can provide better than I can, then sure. But once we have kids and stuff like that, I feel like it becomes a little difficult, because at the end of the day, woman's always going to be a better nurturer than a man, and always going to take care of a kid better than a man's going to take care of a kid, especially in the early years. After a child is 4 or 5 years old, then, you know, I think it's a lot more considerable for a man to potentially stay home if his woman can earn more than him. But you know, in that sense, me personally, I'd rather go with a more traditional sense. I'd rather, you know, I'm looking for the possibility for me to make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, so I can be the provider, as opposed to, you know, to my future woman.
Empress.
I think that dating is the beginning of determining if that person is where you want to take that journey with. So I believe that it doesn't have to be reevaluated. I believe that that's an opportunity where if the woman comes to the table as a business owner, have accumulated degrees, in a position to be a provider, I believe that's where the conversation has to take place, to say, listen, let's build together. I have all of this that I've accomplished, but I want to invest in you. What are your goals? Where do you see yourself? It doesn't have to be that I'm the head person in charge and I hold all the cards, and I do believe that the man is the head of the household, no matter who makes the most money. But I believe in the power of agreement and the power of the couple. You know, we plan our journey together, and we take our resources and we pull them together for the benefit of the whole. I believe that. So I don't believe that modern dating has to be reevaluated, but it needs to be, you need to optimize that space and really have dig deep in those conversations and say, listen, this is what I bring to the table. And are we going somewhere? And if we are, this is what our life, our future would look like, you know? And so I've seen people who were financially in a position where they gotten into relationships and they've invested in their partner. And then the partner then became, you know, the person who made the most money, but it started with somebody investing in them. So I do believe that, you know, that's just an opportunity to talk about your future together, and if there is a viable future together.
Okay.
How it would look like.
Anna?
Well, I pretty much agree with everybody here. I think it comes down to where you want to go in life. I think it all comes down also to values, deep values in a relationship. So is it modern dating need to be reevaluated? I think it's just to be more open-minded into the fact that, yes, women acquire more businesses today, have more degrees. We get more, like, education is more accessible and stuff like that. But that's like, it's like throughout now. So it shouldn't be to be reevaluated. It's kind of now, it's just what it is today in our world and our society. So I think it's more about just being open-minded in your dating, and just be open into that. I also believe that we are individuals. So I think values and of course like optimal vision, what each person aspired to go, needs to align, because of course then the partnership doesn't quite fit. I think this is where we need to have the conversation, but not so much about what people are doing as individuals in any sort of relationship. But I do believe that it comes down to what does align. So, but yeah, I would pretty much agree with everybody.
Okay. There's someone came up. Bronzebird came up into the room. Bronzebird, hold on a quick minute. I'm going to let John get his answer in, and then I'm going to pull you up to the panel. So, John, go for it.
All right, so with more women acquiring businesses and degrees to be providers, does this make modern dating? All right, so here's the deal, man. For you to have a problem with this, then that speaks to a lack of understanding and not having a religious backbone. And that's just for real, because the Proverbs 31 woman did a whole bunch. I mean, a lot. She actually provided for the house. She made her husband look good. She always made sure that there was red food on the table. There was always, when the winters come, she was already prepared. She made all the clothes. She did all that. She had all these roles. But see, when you take religion out of the house, out of the schools and stuff like that, when this change occurred, all of this is evolution coming back around full circle, and no one goes to church and no one understands what a virtuous woman is. Like no one. I said that scripture, and I'll raise your hand if you even knew what I was talking about. Right.
Crickets.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like the role of the right is in there. And people to think that, well, the Bible portrays women as being, no, they don't. They describe what a woman's supposed to be like. And she's real strong. Like she's super stout. Her husband don't have to spoil her anything, and she's very hard to find. So when you dating and you think you found your wife, look again, because you probably haven't. If she's not hitting those benchmarks, if she don't want to do this and she don't want to do that, and she don't believe in this, she don't believe in roles, she's probably not the one for you.
Okay. CJ, after Bronzebird, I'm going to pull you up, all right? Bronzebird, how you doing, my man?
Yo, what's going on, guys? I kind of
Welcome
missed
to the
you.
panel.
I kind of missed the podcast for a while. Like I missed it. Like I wanted to come back.
Yeah, make sure you hit the bell.
Oh yeah. So because I
yeah.
definitely want to come in on a conversation longer. But
Awesome.
I wanna give a comment, and then I want to give a question to the ladies. So my comment is the whole entire concept of modern dating these days is kind of, like I said in the comment, it's a fable. A lot of the times that I see is that it's more or less this whole entire idea of competition, in which you have to compete to see how you can be an accessory to my life of understanding each other on the same level. You understand? And I do think that a lot of y'all did touch on that, but I do see like this whole entire competition narrative fit in. And it's like the woman of today, I feel like, has this whole thing like, well, I make my own money, so I don't need you, or you're just coming into my life. And then like these like random conversations of like, well, if I move in with you, do I have to pay your rent? And this, that, and third. It's like, well, it's an equal partnership. The whole entire idea of a relationship is a prelude to marriage. That's what people have to understand. And it's not about you getting one up on your man or you getting one up on your woman. It's an agreement, like a lot of people on this panel said. So I mean, honestly, it's annoying, and because I see it a lot of the times, and I'm like, geez, like I don't know how to do it as a millennial, Generation Z. Like it's just really annoying. So I just wanted to hear a response from the ladies real quick. I wanted to give this question to them. I wanted to know, I don't know if any of you ladies are single. I'm just asking in terms of like the dating aspect. When you're talking
trying to shoot a shot.
Yeah, I would, but got some beautiful ladies here. I can't lie.
Hey, listen, this is a great looking panel, man.
Yeah, beautiful ladies. So I just want to ask you ladies this. So when we're talking about the concept of dating, right? So let's just say it is a man that makes less than you, or is really starting at the bottom, like he's not making any money, but he has a dream and he has a plan, right? Are you willing to, help him and be with him along the way Or do you feel as if there has to be a certain degree where it's just kind of like you're on your own and I won't date you? Or are you willing to, deal with him because you understand that he has good intentions and all these different things? Because it's just something that I want to hear from the ladies because, men naturally feel intimidated if it's a woman that comes across very strongly or comes across as a woman that knows that she makes more than a man, so she doesn't really need him. This is something I usually see. So I would like to hear from you ladies, like, what's your perspective on that?
Okay, before the ladies answer, Bronze Bird, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room and I'm going to pull up CJ, all right?
No
You
problem.
can just hang out there and hear the answers, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming up, my man. All right, ladies, go for it. Answer.
What's good, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hold on, CJ. Kristen, I think you're muted.
Well,
There you
I
go.
haven't said anything yet, but I was just, yeah, I would date a man who, I mean, the thing is, I have accidentally ended up with, men who, say they want to do things and then have no motivation and don't actually do anything. But I have no problem sticking out with someone. But if they don't have the motivation, if they become stagnant or they get too comfortable, I'm not going to be there for that. But I am totally there to work with someone, to be a part of someone's life, to start to move forward together, because that's what you're supposed to do. Whether they make less or more than me doesn't matter to me, as long as I see that motivation, that drive to move forward, and also to start a life together, because that's ultimately what I want. So I have no problem if it's a work in progress. No problem if it's a work in progress, as long as that progress and work is being put into it.
All right, Bronze Bird, you heard that? You could slide in her DMs after this. All right. Anna or Empress.
I would say I started off saying that my 3 pillars was provider, promise keeper, and protector. And when I was dating my husband, he was not fully able to provide, but because he was a promise keeper, and when he laid out his plan in life, I believed him and I believed in him. So it didn't matter that he wasn't able to provide at that time. What mattered was that I believed in him, that everything he said up until that point, he backed up. So when he said, this is the plan and how I'm going to get there, I fully supported it and backed him. And so we built together until he got to the point where he was the provider. And so relationships have to have a foundation. It has to have principles. It has to have standards, and there has to have an end game. You may not always agree on the path, but you got to agree on the end game. And it worked for us.
Well, I'm with all the ladies. So I'm going to go with the ladies here. It's the same for me. It's like, for me, it's not about the amount of income. It's more about like your intention behind it. If I'm going to be a crush, then I'm not interested for sure. But it's more about like, I'm going to be there to support you in your needs. If you want to go somewhere and you're seeing this vision, and I can help you, and I am in a position of doing that, for sure, I'm going to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
So Bronze Bird, and in total, I would say, to sum it all up, for what the lady said, a man to be a good leader, even if he's making less, needs to have a clear, concise plan that they can understand and get behind. If it's a very wavering plan, they're really gonna have a hard time wanting to commit to that guy.
And their actions have to match their words, I think. Like,
yeah.
There you go.
I mean, well, I see it like an investment. Relationships like an investment. Just because somebody has like ambition.
That was for the question. That was for the ladies. All right. All right. CJ, you're up on the panel, my man. What's going on?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, what's up, CJ?
What's up, CJ?
Hey, pretty much, I just wanted to say, like, I don't think it's an issue with more women getting degrees in business and everything like that now. I just think they have to decide at an early age what type of life and what type of man that they want that they want to have, because typically the more money and the more successful a woman becomes, it tends to be harder to find a man that's on her level or above, because I think most women are hypergamous by nature. So you just really have to be careful. If you're going to take the time and work with a man and help him build, then that's one thing. But you still have to be, in my opinion, in your feminine to do so and to make a good partner and a good mate for any real man that's going to sit there and build, and you're helping him build his empire. So I would just say, be as feminine as you can be and really decide at an early age what type of man or what type of woman that you want to be. Because I think nowadays, being the housewife or being the woman that doesn't want to work and get these degrees, that's looked down upon. I don't know why. I don't think it's wrong for a woman to say that, hey, I want to be taken care of. As long as she's putting in the type of work, then she should be. But I don't have a problem with the women getting the degrees either. Kudos to them, as long as they can balance the career and the home life. So that's pretty much all I had.
Any questions for CJ?
I think he made some good points.
All right.
I think he's really open to, either way. I think you presented a balanced position on, I think that if you're a woman that doesn't work, I think that you can't just not do anything. I think that, people put a lot of value in you doing a physical 9 to 5, but a wife and a mother has a very important role, because you are the first teachers of your children. And you make a home. And when there were seasons when I did not work, but when my husband came home was a sanctuary. Food was prepared, house was clean, children were taken care of, So there is always work to be done. It was just my investment was in the home. So, but those are also things that a man has to be. He has to be okay with. Some men don't want their women. They feel like if you're home, you're not contributing, and they don't see the value in that. I don't agree with that, but I think that all of those things have to be laid out in the dating. You can't get married and then say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna quit my job and be a housewife. No. That has to be established before the commitment. And I believe a lot of times infected marriages happen because the hard conversations are not had at the dating. Dating is, oh, I love you, and and we're going to the movies and we're gonna take selfies and all of that. And so, and the conversations are never had. And so you actually marry a stranger.
I'm a big believer in a woman being in her total feminine. So what I mean when I say that is me as a man putting her in the best position to be her true self and her nature as a woman. So like, for example, my woman doesn't work. I would prefer, like, she's starting a business from home though. So she's not under the stress and the pressures of having a quote unquote boss or what comes with dealing in the work world. So that's just me. That's how I choose to deal with my woman. I don't really want her up under that stress. I would rather her be in her feminine all the way, taking care of the house, providing, and she takes care of the house in other ways and she provides in other ways by being at home. That way we have a happier dynamic. When she's in her total feminine, I'm happier, she's happier, and it just makes a good household. So.
And I like I know. I was gonna say before CJ said a mouthful, because that whole being her feminine, I knew exactly where he was going with that. That is where the women with all these 401ks and they don't know how to do that. That's why they're not married. That's why they're not getting picked. They want to take a fake role as a masculine person, and they're not masculine by no means.
Right. Yeah, I don't compete with my woman.
So, but they
go on
and then go straight on trying to take away his role. And when we don't have a role and we don't see that we're needed, like, you can't even pretend. Well, it's useless. I don't want to be there. I have nothing to do.
Commitment comes
I'm not
in.
going to be. I'm not built like that. Like, I'm not built. Y'all are better at. We are not. Let's just get this out there in the air. We are not the same. I don't care what society thinks. I don't care what society wants to say. We are not the same. Period. Point blank at all. Men do better things are better at things than women, and women are better at other things than men. And when you try to get a man to do things that women are better at, and you try to get a woman to do things that men are better at, you have a flipped upside down dynamic, and then you have a lot of contention there. Somebody is gonna get mad here pretty soon, and then you're gonna just go your separate ways.
I think a woman has to be made to feel that she's free to be a woman and appreciate it. I think that it goes. It's all about baby. I like the way you look in that dress. You wearing those heels. Oh, I noticed that you got your pedicure. You changed the details. A man has to make a woman feel feminine, and then she will move and function in her full. She will.
Hold on. Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this, because you're saying so. So then, is femininity something that a woman should be able to turn on and off?
No, I think that a woman needs to discover the power of it, embrace it, and embody all of it.
Okay.
I think a woman should already, like, those are like certain qualities, like being a provider, being all these different things. Before a man and a woman get into a relationship, a man should already have something set to the side. He should already be established to where he's that provider. And if a woman is trying to get into a relationship, she has to already understand that feminine energy. This should have been passed down from grandparents down, but it hasn't been. And that's
but a lot of women can't be in their feminine. A lot of women don't even have the option to be in their feminine because of the one who they're dealing with and the circumstances. How can she be a woman in her feminine and she got to go out here and work 80 hours a week?
Well, and I can understand that, but what I'm stressing is that often, a little too often, we have a son who was raised by the mother alone. And the mother's trying to teach that son how to be a man. And that's where the issue comes in. That man can't understand. Now he's grown up. He can't understand how to properly do what he needs to do with that woman because there was no male in place. So he's been feminized, going with a female who is feminine. And now there's like a butting of heads. There's no masculine or not enough masculine for him to be able to feed her because she has to use the masculine that she's went up with. That's where the issue, somebody said something about independent woman. That's where the issue with independent woman comes in. That's where everything started to decline in the 1950s, ranging from welfare, where the women had to be to themselves, to the 60s with child support. It was pushed on a lot of women, especially of the lower class. It's been pushed. Be independent. It's all about you. Get your degree. Go find your job. Go do this. When it should have been the family. Hey, let's build the family. Let's build the community.
I do have one question.
The society today is trying to just break up the family completely. Yeah. From television to social media to music to TV shows, everything is trying to breaking the family. I'm raising a 14-year-old girl, in a broken family, and it's extremely difficult because how do I, as a father, teach her femininity? And I can guarantee that her mother teaches it to her because we're not together, and I can't also, in Empress example where she says, it's up. I don't necessarily think that it's up to a man to make a woman feel feminine. Right. But it is up to a man to support that and yes, it's to offer her the compliment, to tell her she looks good in a certain dress, to support her femininity. But
to pair up what you were saying next, just adding to what you were saying, I think it's also very healthy for children to see how a male and a female interact together. Exactly. That's the most important thing for kids to be seeing, because it's like, yes, the mother could be teaching her how to be feminine from a different house, and you could be teaching her what a man is supposed to be. But if she never sees that paired together, she's never going to understand her role in that.
Right.
Can I just ask a question?
I just want to add something about the dynamic between femininity and masculine energy. So I'm a single parent. My son is, it's half and half with my son. Mm-hmm. He has a very present father. We have a really good relationship, even though we're separated. But the thing is, sometimes I think we don't need to get too caught up with being masculine, or feminine with with my son. If I am in my feminine energy, my son naturally will polarize with me being in his masculinity. So my son, he's 8.5. He's a total gentleman at his age. A lot of people say that to me. He's very serving. He's very present when he needs to, because sometimes when I am in my feminine energy, because at the end of the day, we all have both energies inside of us, and it's just creating that great harmony inside of ourselves. It takes great self-awareness, of course, but it's interesting to see how sometimes when I am in this very high level, I would say feminine energy, and my most emotional, and I'll just be honest with my son, and then naturally he'll polarize in masculinity. But I think we have to stop getting too caught up with the way we educate, and just be present and being open in the education of our own children into that aspect.
I don't know.
Hold on a second. CJ, listen, shout out your channel. Hold on a second. There we go. Shout out your channel, CJ.
Y'all can just go follow me on YouTube at the CJ Kyles, and I also have a brand new YouTube channel called F a Cosign Podcast. So that's gonna be dope.
What do you do on your channel?
Oh, I talk nursing, and I also do like a weekly podcast as well on Fridays at 7:30 p.m. But just one last question I wanted to leave with the panel about masculinity. Do you think it is an agenda, not masculinity, but independence? Do you think it's an agenda behind the promotion of women being so independent, more so within the Black communities? Because I really don't see other communities promoting independence of women more so than the Black community. You have songs like Independent Women, I Love Her Because She Got Her Own, all that kind of stuff. So I just want to leave that with the panel. I'm about to get back to work, and I'll be listening.
I love
CJ,
that.
thanks for hopping on, man.
Yep.
Right.
You're always welcome.
I think yeah.
That's an awesome question. I do believe that there is an agenda. Society does have an agenda, particularly with the African American dynamic, family dynamic, where women are trying to indoctrinate women that we don't need our men, and we can't buy into that. And a lot of people got a little testy with me when I didn't join with the Me Too movement. I joined in the respect that if you have been victimized, that that has to be dealt with. But then it took a turn where we were almost like against the men, and I'm not for that. I embrace our men. I think that they have great value. They add value to the family. I think Joe, is that John, if I'm saying it,
It's John.
You touched on something that was so powerful, the dynamic. We need the man and the woman in order for family dynamics to function at its optimal level.
Mm-hmm.
We do what we have to do when one is missing, but it was always designed for us to work together for the nurturing of the family, right? And so, and it is subliminally in our music, just like Beyonce had wrote a song, "I Can Get Another You in a Minute," and I liked that song until I started understanding
to the lyrics,
what I was saying. I said, no, I have a great husband, a great father to my children. I can't get another him. So I refuse to sing that song. I can't get another you in a minute. What I have is priceless. I can't get another you. So, but you have to be mindful of the messaging and the music in our culture.
Subliminal messages.
Yeah. Like if we as women, if the man walks away or we become widows or whatever it is, the man doesn't want to commit, we do what we have to do as single mothers, as just single women. And, we put our energy in building ourselves up. But it's not to say that if a good man shows up and presents himself, that we're going to say, oh, I'm doing good all by myself. I don't need you. No, I need you to add to me, because then we build together. So I think that the ultimate approach is to find that person that you can join with, become one, and build and conquer together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because just like Anna said with the energies, we have those energies. We do have both energies, but you have to know how to use those energies. A
Yeah.
woman's masculine energy, if she has a husband, should never come out. Like it should be absence, docile.
A good husband.
A good husband, right? If the only reason that masculine energy is going to be there is to help him defend your home, that's when that masculine energy is going to come out, especially in defense of a child. Or when you are single and you have to play both roles. Same thing with the man, because there were times where I raised 3 boys. I have custody. I'm a single parent with my boys, so I had to learn how to allow that energy to come out, because I noticed they would cry a lot when I would be, that masculine was just too much. And I was like, Mama, Mama, come deal with him. I think I'm too much for him. And she was like, yeah, you are. Like, you being too rough on him. I'm like, well,
all right, let's let Bronzeberg get his last word in. I took you off the panel a little early, so everybody gets one, but I'll let you get another one. All right.
Yeah, I got to make sure I come in early because I would love to join in on these conversations. So there is a point that a lot of you guys made that I really liked, exploring the whole entire masculinity and femininity aspect. And I love the answers you ladies gave. It was really good. My thing about it is when we're talking about masculinity and femininity, that has to already be taught from a young age, because we have the understanding social engineering is a thing. And the thing about it is, yes, it's been going on for over 50 to 60 years. And to the point, women already know that their uses for this society is their bodies, more or less. A lot of them know that if they use their bodies, they can get somewhere in life. You understand? And I know it's crazy to say that, but I mean, look, you guys have the understanding like OnlyFans is a thing, okay? Chat rooms is a thing, and all these different things, because they know it's easy money, okay? And the whole thing about these songs and all these different things out there, that's also a point. So this is a thing that I found ironic. Okay, so the Carrie Hilson situation happened. A lot of women didn't like that. Then the whole thing about the Beyonce songs came out. And I said this a long time ago in my real life that a lot of people didn't pick up on, but it came through later. So that's why I know divine intervention is really something. I said a lot of people always want to talk about independent woman, but don't even realize that she came out with a song called Cater to You. You see that, right? And nobody paid attention to that. As soon as they heard Cater to You, they was like, oh, that's a pick-me song. This is the thing. Women are very powerful when they know that they know what their true use is. A lot of women of today don't know what their usage is. Right. So they always want to argue and compete against men to think that if you're supposed to get over a man, you've won. That's not how it works. I don't want to compete with a woman. I want to be with my woman so she has an understanding on how I roll. You understand? And that's unfortunately in this society, and I mean, yeah, we can gravitate this towards the so-called black community, but I definitely do see it happening in the Western world in general. So whether you're a white woman, black woman, Latina woman, when you're in the Western world, such as the US and the UK and countries that's developed, they have this mindset, And I just want to make it very clear that, I mean, yeah, it's just really going to be like this. I mean, I can't change anything. I can wish for it to change, but unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is too far gone. So you have to develop the whole entire tribe mindset. You can only work with those who's on the same level as you and the same energy. That's why when it comes to this podcast, you guys have the understanding, So when you see it like that, that's just how it is. But that's my last point. I'll jump down, and if anybody wants to look at my page, I also am on YouTube as Bronzebird. You can type that in, and you'll find me. I'm the first page that pops up. I lead panels on Fridays, so anytime you guys want to come through, and I'll try to join every Wednesday if I can, because I love these conversations.
Yeah, listen. If you're able to get a camera, I would love to have you. Definitely email me on my YouTube page, and we'll set something up, man.
Yes, for sure, man. Thank you for having me, of course, and shout out to everybody on this panel. Have a good night.
If I could respond, CJ, I think it was CJ at least. CJ, yeah. He asked the question of, do I think it's seemingly like a scheme against black people, I would say no. I think it's a class issue. I think it attacks all the lower class, whether it be white, black, or whatever. And the only reason why I say that is because I'm in connection with people who have dealt with a lot of different issues, and most of them are white, whether it be they're on welfare or they're on child support. And per capita, if you look at what the research says, it's more white people that's on these different programs or dealing with different stuff like that than it is black. We're actually pretty well off compared to where we've been within society. So I would say that needs more than just anecdotal experience or what we've seen with our families, because a lot of us come from like the hood or like the lower low class. But like if you step outside, like let's say you step into the middle class and you look back, then you can see pretty clear, oh, wait a minute. So it's not just attacking these people, it's attacking the lower class. Not saying that whether it be child support services or welfare doesn't exist within middle class or whatever, but I'm just making a point that I think that it's not simply a black thing. I think it's a lower class thing.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Wait, hold on. Make it quick.
Well, I mean, I don't think he really heard CJ question, because like it didn't have nothing to do with that. He was talking about the family dynamic is being under attack, and I'm just gonna tell you, lower class, the my folks in the ghetto. Oh no, they really appreciate they man. They hold a man absolutely all the way down. They don't have them problems. They don't even hear all that noise and that nonsense. But the middle class,
that's why he just said this.
Wants to be. Yeah, that's exactly why. Because you don't see that there. You see baby mamas holding on to this dude. He done went to jail. She put money on this book. She out here grinding. She being about her grown woman business. You don't see all that. They understand their man, but middle class, that's a whole nother monster. They will replace that man. They will redefine what family definition is, which has already been done. That's why people say it's politically correct for you to say your partner, which I never say partner. My wife, period. That's not. I'm not the politically correct type. That's what she is with me. She's my wife. That has redefined what a family structure is. And who did that affect? Middle class. Who has jobs to lose? Middle class. When you're already unemployed or you're really, really poor, you don't care about being politically correct either. So they're not buying into it. They're just not buying into that whole agenda, because that isn't.
Wait, hold on. We are going to do a quick reaction video. Okay. So, you know what? Make it quick, Octavius. Go ahead while I set this up. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I ended up forgetting what I was about to say, but
oh, jeez.
Come on, Octavius, man.
Okay, all right. Since you forgot, we're gonna go to the reaction video. All right. So quick clip. Why is this still there? Oh my god. All right, fine. There we go. Quick clip. Fair use. And we're gonna react to this.
So I'm just sitting here trying to understand why I look this good and I am this single. Like, I have my own money, I have my own mind, I have my own business, but I don't have my own man. Like, how?
All right.
When I first saw it, the first two things I thought about was titties and Jesus. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Say titties and titties. So, yeah, like, all right, that makes sense.
Because I saw titties and I saw the cross. So I was like, titties and Jesus. That's an oxymoron. Like you come on the video as an oxymoron. Like you ask a seemingly rhetorical question, why am I single? Because you're smash and pass. You look like a smash and pass.
Exactly.
It's like she's doing like the Halloween thing. One thing I really don't like is people dressing up like police, going in the hood and be wondering why everybody's afraid to talk to them.
Empress, you look shocked.
I am.
What?
Explain.
Really? Explain.
I you know, I do believe that women have been objectified. They have bought into having to alter their bodies and do all of these things, only to find out I'm still single. I don't have a man, and I blame Cardi B. I blame, I blame hip hop culture. I'm seeing a lot of young women with little waists like this, big bottoms like this, and big chests like this, and the lace front wigs, and the this and the that, and the injected lips, and the Fendi out, and all of this stuff, and they're saying,
but no ring.
no, right. I'm still not being fulfilled. So yeah, I am a little shocked by her being shocked. I don't believe that her not having a man is because of the way she was dressed. I don't believe it. I don't believe that, because I see a lot of this dress, that type of dress. These guys are responding to that because
they're wearing them.
Okay, wait,
Yeah, but that's why these guys.
No.
Yeah.
They're not wearing them.
Kristen,
These
go
guys-
ahead. Hold on, let Kristen talk. Let Kristen talk.
I don't normally dress up a lot, but like a lot of my friends like to be like, I don't put makeup on a lot. I just started learning about like a year or two ago. I've had my friends dress me up to the nines, and I've looked gorgeous. And I've had plenty of people, men, women, are like, God, holy shit, like you look really good. I don't get hit on at bars like that. When I go to a bar with a nice like t-shirt, I'm just there to chill, like wholesome look. Usually the nights I don't want to be hit on, until it finally hit me that it's when I dress like that, when I'm just the casual cool, is when more guys are like, oh, okay, I'm going to go talk to that girl.
Less
When I look
intimidated.
that good, like
you look
to the nines, no one, they don't want to mess with that, or they don't want to mess with that, or they don't feel like they can.
I wouldn't say they don't want to mess with that. I would say that it's probably that men are more intimidated when you're more casual looking. You probably you're come off as you're more approachable. You don't come off as standoffish. And as far as to react on that lady, she said, she doesn't understand why she looks this good, and she has her own businesses and all that stuff. And I think that's a reoccurring theme that like. That's not what's attractive to men. Like a woman having her own business and all that kind of stuff. Like that's not. Maybe that's why she's single. Maybe she focused more on getting her own business set up as opposed to making herself more attractive to a relationship type guy. Because she is an attractive woman, but she's attractive in the sense for the night, like the first thing Octavius noticed said, he said titties and Jesus. So it's like, yes, that type of dressing that type of way is gonna grab men's attention, but like Kristen mentioned, it's some guys are gonna be intimidated, and then the guys that are not intimidated by that are there for one thing.
John, go ahead.
But I can't bring that home to my mama, man. Come on.
But I'm agreeing with.
Man, she look like a hooker, bro. She like a thought. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. You want one thing from her, like that. That's what
I mean, it ain't that she's not approachable. She's just into herself. Listen, so that is a hey, look at me, girl. And since she's a hey, look at me, girl, that comes with a set of behaviors that's centered around hey, look at me. Every woman on this panel looks like their marriage material. Every woman on this panel.
Why is it? And this was on the news recently that there are more women that are taking trips to DR in these different countries to get their bodies altered, that they don't have enough when they come off the plane. They don't have enough wheelchairs to wheel them off, because there is a dynamic, there's a shift in the thought process that women feel like they have to alter their body.
But that's because of Instagram and social media. Those type of women are not the type of women that men are looking at trying to marry. They want the attention. But
while you're saying that, X, those are the ones who are getting men in their DM all the time. They're
in their DM, but I guarantee you, those men, they're not getting rings put on their finger. They're not getting rings put on their finger. I guarantee you that. Those men in their DMs.
John, go ahead. Hold on. Let John go. We
talked about this. I'm a doctoral student for psychology, and we talked about this. Mm-hmm. We talked about the effects of social media and how it's in all these in TV and the media and all this. Sex sales. You don't see fat girls selling nothing. Have you ever seen a commercial with a fat woman on it? Stay
you got what's her
male
name?
spirit.
Lizzo. Lizzo's selling a lot.
She's got long legs. She's on the commercials. She's gorgeous. That's what sells, right? Now, this whole social media thing, just because, let me tell you something about a man. There is take home to mama, I want to marry her. There is smash and never tell nobody. And then there's just smash and that's it, I'm done. We categorize you women. The more you look like a thought, I'm going to treat you like a thought. The more you look like a wholesome woman, I'm going to treat you like a wholesome woman. And if you match your beat, I'm telling you, these men, none of those women they're not married. They're not.
Men don't want to get married. They want
men
to marry.
You keep saying that, but men actually do want to get married. A lot of men want to get married.
There's too many of our women out here that are not married.
So men do want to get married, but men also want to sow their oats. Men want to experience as much as they can as well before getting married.
That's what they're experiencing.
A lot of men.
I don't know. For all men, I would say it depends on the relationship structure. I mean, because like when me and my wife, when we first met, we was talking about a polygamous marriage, and it's not necessarily for the purpose of sowing my oats, but if the opportunity came, like it was like if I found that someone was fit for our family, then it would be okay if I did that as long as I had the proper provisions. But like, I mean, in a situation like this, with the issue is that everybody want this plastic body. They want to edit it rather than going to the gym, rather than fixing themselves up the natural way. People would look more at a person like, oh, look at that. They're actually fit. Their stomach, although they may wear the little wrap waist thing to get their stomach tighter, look at them. Their arms, their tone, their body looks nice. But they rather go to another country, Mexico, to get their lips injected, to get their chest injected.
Because they think that's what men want, and that's not what men want.
It's not. Anna, you wanted to say something?
People looking for wives on Instagram.
Anna, want to say something?
Well, for starters, for the video, I think there's a lot of missing context. But of course, the thing is, I believe everything is about energy. If she's not attracting any man, is she really available to receive a man? There it goes with the tangent. Are you actually looking for a true man? And do you know what it truly likes and what do you truly want in a relationship? Until you don't put that finger on that, then there's like how you're supposed to meet them.
Because right now,
becoming them into your life. If you're going around showing off and putting out this energy that you want a man, but your idea of wanting a man is like putting out this projection that you need to attract them in a certain way, then probably the intention behind that's going on in your subconscious mind is actually attracting exactly what you don't want. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people focus more on what they don't want instead of what they want. Mm-hmm. So what happens is law of attraction here. Well, if you're always thinking about, all these men that doesn't want to commit and people like doesn't want to do this, then you're actually attracting them more and more so. Mm-hmm. Like Kristen, you mentioned that when you're like not looking to be dating, but that's the point. You're just like, I just want to be there to have fun. You're in complete receiving mode. Mm. You are in complete receiving mode. Mm-hmm. I attract when I don't even think about it, period. Mm-hmm. That's just how it works because you're in receiving mode. You know it's available. You know it's there. You trust. You're just yourself. You show who you are. You just be who you are. And then, boom, things come to you because that's what you attract. You attract to what your energy really.
What mode is she in when she's all dressed up? If that's not receiving mode.
Well, for me, when I don't dress up for anybody but myself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what mode is that called?
If you think I look good or not. I think I look good, then I'm on.
I think that's a difference, though. That's a different standard for when it comes to dating for men. Since we have to approach, we can't just be in our natural energy and just kind of go out there and things will happen. We have to make them happen. We have to make it happen. We have to. Plans have to be made for it to actually happen.
And it
doesn't just happen.
You have to,
But I mean, I do agree with you that it is still energy. Energy has to be put towards that effort to actually make it happen. So I do agree with that.
And that girl is giving out positive and negative energy.
It's just even
with all the guys on here, Like all the ladies like, oh, you know, like she's saying this, she's saying that. All the guys said, oh wow, titties. That's all we saw. Like, oh, boobs, nice. Oh, that's cool. Like, because that's all. Instantly, the second you see all of that, she's labeled. She's put in the category. She's only fun, and that's all we'll ever see her as. That's how guys think. Like we are extremely visual, and I think most of this society doesn't understand. Like most of these women in this society don't understand how visual men are. If we see you in a slutty outfit,
I think they do understand how visual we are, but they think that because we are visual, but that's the first thing we're attracted to. Obviously, it's the visuals, and it is a huge.
But that's what categorizes the women right away.
Exactly, like there's something to, like, you can show off your curves, but you don't have to show off your skin. It's like I always try to encourage my daughter to dress more covered up. Doesn't mean she can't, dress how she wants to, but I encourage her to dress, modest. More modest, because at the end of the day, as a man, when you see a woman who's showing off her skin, it's a fantasy, and right away you're thinking about sex. But when you see an attractive woman with an amazing body that's still covered up, that there's just a little bit more mystery behind her. There's more left to the imagination, and there's more that you want to uncover. You know what I mean? Versus if you already uncovered, there's not much to uncover. It's like, okay, well, let's get to it. Versus like, okay, well, this woman who's all covered up, I have to dissect her mind state or her mental in order to get anywhere with her, because she's not just showing off everything like that.
And I definitely agree.
Deprivation breeds motivation. If you deprive him of the skin, literally the skin, then he will be more apt to respond to you a whole different way. He'll respond to your mental, just like what the professor was talking about, and all these other things. But when I'm looking at you and only this is covered up, you got all this out here, nails this long, your shorts all up here. I've already categorized you. There's nothing for me there's nothing, like, I see all of you, so I'm not interested. Somebody else.
I think any woman who sees themselves as a prize or as a gift that any man should want, like, you actually got to wrap that gift up. Exactly. If a man can already see, oh, this is what's being provided, nothing left to my imagination. I've already had them in my mind. It's harder for a man with a woman that's covered up to imaginate that. They'll have to create a situation rather than looking, ass, titties, got them. Yeah. And that's as fast as it goes for a man. When I saw the video, it popped up. I saw her body, and then I heard her speak. And that's what we do. We look and then we listen to see what she's saying. I instantly was like, narcissist. And I was like, oh, she must be looking at her body and listening to her speak. She wants this 7-figure man that does XYZ, and she wants to sit at home.
Yeah, it goes with what Anna said. There's missing context, because she's that single. Yeah, and like Octavia said, maybe her standards are way too high. You know what I mean? Like it could be that
energy, but again,
just can't get off the thought.
She's gonna have a hard time. Well, you know what? From what I'm seeing, from what I'm hearing from the guys on the panel, she's gonna have a hard time attracting the man that she wants, because how she's presenting herself as a package.
She's only
not presenting herself as a wife.
She's attracting guys with sexual disorder.
I don't agree. I see a dynamic with this generation, with girls who feel like that's acceptable the way to dress, and they are getting plenty of attention. And
nobody's not saying that they're not getting attention.
What I'm saying,
they're not getting married.
Okay, hold on. Let her finish. Let
me finish my point, because we are also assuming that these are the women that want to be married. They don't want to be married. They want the attention. If it would take you thousands of dollars to alter your body and I'm telling you, Cardi B is resonating with this generation.
But Cardi B has a man, and she has two. She's about to have her second child with him.
And this guy has cheated on her several times. She's left him, gone back. The whole messaging, the whole visual of her is horrible, right? But she's got young girls captivated by what comes out of her mouth and how she dressed and how she presents herself. And it's just not her, it's the Saweeties, it's the Kardashians. This is what the culture is presenting to our young people. They are doing it, they're getting the attention that they want. And I believe that we may have a more mature perspective where we feel like, well, when we see that, they're not marriage material. Well, when you're 20 years old, you're not really thinking about that. You're thinking your ego is being fed by your response when you're getting cat calls or when you're getting responding in the club. I remember when I was in the club and I was 20 years old and I was wearing midriffs and poom poom shorts. And you get an attention, then that's what you're there for. And so the young people are not thinking this way. This is what they want. That's what they want. That's what they're getting.
That's a societal error and a societal issue that we have, because we've spoken about this in the podcast before, where a woman's a prime value as marriage material is and not to say that it doesn't exist after that age, but we said in this podcast before where between 18 and like 25 is like the prime a woman's prime marriage material. And unfortunately, because of the way society works today, most of those women those ages are not thinking about getting married. And then now you're 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and you're rushing to get married. And now you're making either poor decisions, you're not getting the man that you want. And unfortunately, you're right. Like it is because of the Cardi B's, the Kardashians, and all these people. But it's also lack of examples sometimes from homes. A lot of broken homes, a lot of absent fathers. And that's that's something that we have to fix as a people.
I agree with that, simply because
last point, and then I want to move on to the next question because I love this panel, but I don't want to go 5 hours. All right, so
all right. So I'll talk this brief. All right, so I agree to an extent, because I think that there should be a sense of communal living where you're shown the proper way, but they can also see, okay, look, this is what the Cardi B's are doing out there, and you show them and you teach them, oh no, this diminishes like the view of a woman. This is not a woman. This is a hoe. This is a thought. But this is the right example. Like what X was saying, like there's no proper family structure and no proper role models. So if it's not Cardi B's problem, it's not her fault or the culture's fault that we as parents allow our children to do it. And I'll end it as that.
I love it. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, welcome to CKQ Podcast. I'm your host, Clement, and we are moving on to our next question. But before that, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications every time I go live every Wednesday. And if you're ever interested in coming on the panel, go to my email in my page, email me. We'll make something happen. Cool. All right. Next question to the panel. Men want submission and women want independence. Both parties are still lonely. Empress, you look wide awake and ready to tackle. Your eyes were open. You were ready to tackle. Let's go. Let me hear it.
I just I think I need more clarity around submission, because I think people run with that word. Okay. And that's why I think there's a lot of disagreements, because there's no real clarity or understanding. What does independence mean and what does submission mean? I think we both approach the words like, the way it's set up, we're battling against each other.
Okay. So I would say submission in the aspect of yielding to the man's authority, meaning not in a dictatorial way, right? Like submission is a choice. A woman chooses who she would like to submit to, who she'd like to say, I'm going to follow your lead. I'm going to jump when you say jump, and I'm going to trust that you are going to do the best thing you can for this family. That's what I mean by submission.
So in that respect, and I'm glad you made those, you set those parameters, because that's not what men think when they expect a woman to submit. And it goes back to my 3 pillars. When you can trust a person and you trust. When you trust that that person has your best interest at heart, then you can submit. When you understand that that person loves you, like when you go Bible, it says when a man loves his wife as Christ loves the church. When you love somebody to that, when you know without a shadow of a doubt, this person loves me. I will say, if there was a piece of bread left on earth and my husband had a choice to eat it over me, I believe that he would feed me first. He would choose me over himself. And so it's easy for me to submit to him, his authority, because I trust that he has my best interest, my children, he has my life, he has my best interest at heart. But that does not mean that I can't be independent. My independence is within a parameter that doesn't usurp him as the head of the house. And so when we understand the dynamics of how the hierarchy in the house, nobody oversteps the other and everybody functions in their own role and nobody bumps heads and nobody feels less than, because submitting gives me a lot of power. I choose to submit, and I can also choose to take that back. I choose to submit to the person that I know will not abuse it. And so I think that a lot of times men use that, as with arrogance, and they use that against women, and they want you to submit, bringing nothing to the table.
That's fair. That's fair. So it's men's fault.
No, I don't think it's not men's fault. It's a lack of understanding of what submission requires, what it means, and what does independence require, and what does that mean within the parameters of your relationship. And because I submit to my husband doesn't mean that I can't be independent. Mm-hmm. It just means that my independence has parameters.
Okay. Anna.
Well, I'm a little bit with Empress on on that subject. Like I think submission is not conditional of the independence and vice versa. It's really about just understanding the dynamic of your relationship. And like also she mentioned about this idea behind like when you trust, and of course there's some sort of you trust the other person. So there is some sort of submission going on there. But in independence, like I believe that both parties in the relationship can totally have that in their own specific way. But that doesn't mean they don't come back and like at the end of the day together to support themselves. And like it feels a little bit conflicting in my opinion, as it, like she mentioned.
Do you think people can be independent to a fault?
What?
Do you think people can be independent to a fault?
I believe so.
Meaning
I believe deep down, I believe everything is on a spectrum. And there's extremes on both sides. If we go independence or dependence, there's extremes on both sides. Mm-hmm. And there's like this, and there's this middle part, this harmonious part of, yes, you are independent, but there's other elements that comes with it. It's about like where you stand in that specific sense or a specific situation when you bring that word to the table.
Kristen, before you fall asleep.
Oh, what? No. Are both parties? I mean, should women want independence? Yes, to a certain extent, but also we talk about the provider, the protector, and the promise keeper. I believe you said. Okay, so I think a huge problem is we're only 2 to 3 generations removed from when a woman actually needed a man. So we had to submit at one point. Now it's our choice. And I think that men don't understand that anymore, that we choose to do that now. And you have to prove to me on why that's right for me to do with you.
Interesting.
So, because no longer is it I'm screwed if I leave you. Like 2 to 3 generations ago, if I did not have a man, I couldn't open a bank account, I couldn't get my own house, I'm stuck with you. Now you have to prove to me on why I should submit to you. That's
a good point. She has a good point.
I would like to add just something for
Look,
In my
yeah,
personal
go.
opinion, it's not about needing a man; it's about wanting a man.
Yeah.
Wanting.
Wanting and still having part of that independence. I'm not saying completely all listening to the no. There needs to be some balance, as you said as well. But I'm just saying that a man needs to prove like, hey, I'm in this with you together. So yeah, that's just okay.
John, I still want to hear it. I still want to
For what?
hear
Bro,
it. I want to hear it.
All you gotta do is post what my wife put up there and give you my answer. Put it up there. It's my answer. Bam. There it is right there. I told you this before.
There we go. There we go.
Because I'm proving myself to be competent as a man. When I tell her this is not what we're gonna do, and it shows out that this is why we shouldn't do it, and then she says, "Well, what if I want to try it?" I say, "Boo, go ahead." But then when she see I was right all along, okay, and now I'm consistent, and when I say something, I do it. So and when I'm not going to do something, I don't do it. I keep my word. Yeah. She knows she can depend on me. So yeah, but I submit to her too.
Absolutely.
Because that's how that works. It works. We submit one to another. The preacher's the one who got this all messed up. The ones who only want to teach half the sermon. Because the whole verse is submit one to another, not just one side. You don't have a penis and it makes you man of the house. So if you couldn't read or write, you're going to be the man of the house. You're going to pay the bills, but you can't read or write. No, you're going to submit to somebody who can read or write. So how can you be the man of the house? How can she trust you? She can't trust you. And when a woman,
you look stumped, bro.
Huh?
You're up next, Doc Ock.
Man. All right. So just for the record, everybody, my name is Montavious.
Oh, Montavious.
You've been saying Octavius this whole time.
I know.
Bro, we're almost 2 hours. We're almost 2 hours into the stream. And you're like, oh, by the way.
You are Octavius today.
Yeah. You know what? That's your name, bro.
Revelation.
I'll be that for now.
Love it.
Right. So, like my questions, and it's just like a lot of rhetorical questions. But why is there so many women that are getting with men who they don't trust their leadership, who they can't actually submit to or actually decide? Just like with femininity, turn off submission. That should be a woman's character trait. At least that's what it was. And that's the reason why a lot of women are single, because that's what men are looking for. They're looking for submission. And a woman, she turns it on while they're dating. And then whenever they get in a stronger relationship, they turn it off at like, this is what you married. So like, and what was mentioned was a scripture, and I always hear it, especially within the church, that men should be treating their wives like how Christ treats the church, but they don't go to when it says that the woman should treat their husband as they treat the Lord or the Christ. They skip over that. If you're gonna quote it, they'll actually go to, hold on just a second. They'll go to the extent of saying, I'm married to Jesus. And then when it comes to treating their husband like Jesus, they skip over that part. Well, if he's doing right, it's always conditional. It's always conditional or situational. If he's doing right, or if I feel that this is good, then I will do this. When that's not what we would call agape love or proper relationship. And someone had mentioned, I'm going to take back my submission if I feel like this. But that's the reason why women in a lot of cases can't lead, because they run by emotions, thinking, oh, if I feel like this, not thinking logically, let's talk about this. Let's find out I want you to explain this to me, why you feel like this. And I'm going to explain to you why I feel like this, so we can come into a better agreement. Not, oh, I feel like this, so I'm not listening to you. I'm not doing this. And another thing was men that was said was that men lack understanding of what submission is. It's what men want. How can you tell men that they lack understanding with what they want? It's not just men. It's men and women. Men don't have the proper definition of submission, possibly, but they know it to an extent because it's ingrained in them. But women don't know what it is because they live off a fantasy little fairy tale that they get off of Prince Charming, they get off all of these movies, off of Waiting to Exhale, or off of any of these women empowerment videos that's really destructive to the woman nature. So if I can end it off, I'll just say there is no I in team. If you're being independent in a relationship, then he's nothing but a cut buddy. And because even like say my wife, I push her to, ever since we created this business for her, I've always pushed her, do your thing, babe. In the case that I'm not here, I want to make sure that we set up this for you. Go ahead, build this business. We're going to work. I'm going to help you, but build this business, be independent within the family structure. You go and handle this. You go that direction and fight. I'm going this direction and fight. And we're going to cover more ground. But women see it as, not all women. Let me not generalize it like some people do, but some women see it as he's going to be his own person within a relationship, and I'm going to be my own person within a relationship. But he better listen to me. And that's where it's more destructive. It's independence within a relationship rather than going together, attacking in different directions, but staying together. I'll end it on that.
But I think I just want to add to what you're saying. I think now from that standpoint, what you shared. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, a lot of echoing.
Is it?
No, it's still echoing.
I think it's really about communication. I think especially I believe right now, communication has lost its track. And what you shared with us, it's a total visual of what communication is. When you actually listen on both sides, because a lot of times I think why women put on independence and they let go, they want to take back their submission, is a lot of times maybe there's a lack of communication between the man and the woman, and the man maybe not as much listening to the woman who's just trying to speak her way through it, or vice versa, whatever the case scenario is. I think communication there, because a lot of times in communication, talking is easy for both parties, but listening is another like whole story. Mm-hmm. That was my experience with my previous relationship. He was doing the talking. I was trying to talk my way too, but he wasn't listening. At some point, I had to go on my own way. I'm sorry, but I can't, because it goes both ways in communication. And then, how can you trust a man in decision making when he's not actually taking anything into account of what's going on your side of the story?
And that's what I was talking about with the men, bro.
Exactly, it's like this. It's this cycle.
That leader. If you be that leader, she will follow. But a leader leads by example, meaning, yeah, it's right here.
Not by words.
It's nothing. She leads by action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've always done, led by action.
We got to get one more person to chime in, like Xavier. Real quick, actually, before that, did anyone adjust anything in their audio? Did anyone switch up anything? No. It's weird.
I'm mad. Her computer mic is way better than my actual mic. I'm upset with that.
Just spend 10 grand on a laptop. You'll be good.
Okay.
Xavier, go for it.
I think I agree a lot with what Kristen said, but not in the sense that like I think it's a good thing. Oh, well, I mean, it's a good thing for women to be independent, but I think that's what we're struggling with as a society. The fact that yes, women don't need men to survive anymore. Women can survive on their own, for the most part. Of course, there are still women who choose
until they hit 45.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, no, not necessarily, because if you're a woman. If you're listen, so I know, I have an aunt who's been, she divorced her husband, like 30 years ago, and she's been single ever since. She bakes cakes, and she lives on her own, and she chose to be independent. She was in an abusive relationship, and she chose never to marry, never to be in another relationship. So technically, she doesn't need a man. She's an older woman. I doubt she's ever going to get married at this point. And that's not the only example that I've seen in my life.
Right.
But that's something that's a hurdle we have to get over as a society, because I think that's why divorce rates are higher, why there's a lot of broken homes and all these kinds of things, is because yes, like, you know, Empress mentioned the Beyonce song. All this stuff in our society is pushing women independence, and again, I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman fending for herself and be able to provide for herself, because if you're able to bring that together with a man who's also providing well, you can build a stronger household, you can build a stronger home. So there's nothing wrong with that. Um but that's, I think, as men, that's where we're having trouble adjusting, or maybe not just men, but society in general is having trouble adjusting to that, because we're used to, humanity is used to, for thousands of years, where the woman, to survive, she needed a man to provide and protect her. But now, I mean, I think that women still do need men to protect themselves, although women can protect themselves as well. But for the most part, for men, for people to have a happy relationship, we have to find that balance where women can be independent but also submissive to men. And to John's point, as men, we do have to. I've seen that's an issue with a lot of relationships where in old school men, my pops is more of a old school and not very educated man, to where, like, I've seen it growing up where he can't open his ear to what my mom has to object, because, and then I see that my family's from the country, Dominican Republic, where there's not a lot of education. So and there's machismo and misogynist is well, quote unquote misogyny is rampant, because that's the culture that's there. And so that's transitioning into a society like this in the Western world, it's something that we're I think in our society and our culture, it's a transitional phase where, I mean, I feel like we're losing, because what is it, what's the divorce rate, 60-70%?
It's high.
It's very high. So
super high.
So I think that this question is kind of representative of that. That's why the fact that we don't know how to balance the independence versus submission is why both parties are still.
And we don't know how to date.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to. I brought this up before. I'll bring this up again. Everyone keeps bringing up the divorce rate. It's not It's not the new generations that are divorcing. It's people in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah, but new generations aren't even getting married. Like the marriage rate is low. Like
you can say that. That's fair, but don't bring the divorce rate and say it's due to the dating and how things have shifted, because that's older generations that are still divorcing.
But you don't think the older generation is like this whole independence movement for women is in. Man, this for humanity is new. It's like it's 50, 60 years old. So that generation is representative.
This independent woman man started in the 70s with the women's rights movement. That's when it started. When they offered black women, if you wanted the social assistance, you had to get that man out your house if you were not married. Yeah. Period.
That happened in the 50s and 60s.
That's right, in World War II, when the men were going out to war, and the women, when the women's suffrage movement started, that's when the independence really was birthed. And then the African American woman kind of joined into that movement. That's
the capitalists also realized that they can get work. They said, look, before World War II. Before World War II, it was only men working and providing. But once all the men were out at war and women were forced to start working, now the capitalists are like, oh wait, you know what? When these men come back, we got to keep these women working, and we got to get these men back to work, so that now as a society we can be more productive and make more money. And I feel like that's been spilling into society today, and that's where we're finding all these issues, because we have broken up the home so that this country, so the society could be more lucrative. But we're more lucrative and we might have more money, but we have less values, we have less morals, we have more broken families because of it.
I think that what's ingrained in us is men. I mean, women can speak on it all they want. It's not going to change for men, but that men men need that, or they have that desire to feel needed. And just like what Christian said,
Yeah,
women don't need men.
So
And that's the reason why they're single.
And
so,
what's crazy?
And men will back
I
off.
didn't say we didn't need
I don't-
men.
yeah, I think
I
that's
never
unfair to
said we
say.
did not need
No one
men.
said that.
Yes, you did.
No one said
Wait,
that.
that's your exact
No,
word?
I didn't.
Maybe that's not what you meant, but you definitely
But,
said
like,
that women
no,
don't
I-
need men.
I didn't say that.
I said that we want men, but we don't need them in the sense of we can buy a home on our own, we can get a bank
Well,
account.
yeah.
It's only been, I believe it's 2 or 3 generations, you can check me on it, that a woman couldn't even open a bank account in her own name. So we needed men to actually survive as just a human being. I'm saying that, like, I'm gonna agree with the
John
guy
X.
with John, the
Doc Ock?
beanie. With the beanie,
John.
John, that we need each other for a balance. There is a good balance with the men and women, but we don't need them to survive anymore. Like, we don't need them to exist in life, but we still need each other. That's not like, and that's why I said, you have to prove to me why I should submit to you, why we should submit to each other. Again,
And that's
back to
what I'm
that.
saying. That's where men. I think that's where men were having. That's where men are having trouble because, and that I think that's what leads to more to let more lonely people, because it's true. We do need to prove to you why you should submit to us, and that's what I'm saying is now that is an extra hurdle that
I think that's what we've been taught, that we have to prove it. There's no need to prove it. We should be moving in our purpose, in my opinion. We should be moving in the direction that we need to do.
But that's
and
part
if a
of
woman wants to be part of our lives, then she is going to.
Yeah, and that's what you do.
I'm not saying that you have to go out of your way to prove it to specific
that's how
women.
you prove it, by being who you are, just
Yeah.
by
The crazy
doing what
part
you want in
is-
life.
The crazy part is we try to get into a relationship and work it out. Why not prove that you can do these things prior to getting in a relationship?
Absolutely.
Because that's where a lot of relationships get jacked up. They don't have a proper understanding of submission. They don't have these conversations, and then they get together and find out, oh, well, she's a bisexual. Oh, well, he don't like a woman do this. Oh, and then now there's gonna be that issue. So like we have to have these discussions prior to getting in a relationship. This is what I expect of you, and this is what I expect of you. And even now, like me and my wife, we still, like, I would say monthly or bi-monthly, we pretty much analyze each other.
Yeah.
My wife, she comes to me and says, how do you think I'm doing? Do you think that I'm still present myself as a good wife? What do you think I can do better? And I ask her the same questions. And I think those things are what really strengthens relationships. You can't just say, once you get in there, well, if you don't do this for me that I saw on YouTube or Facebook, then this relationship is over.
My horoscope said today that you should be down to me.
We keep going to these YouTube.
I said about dating. People do not know, men and women do not know how to date.
Right.
Period. They just don't know how to date. Period. Think about it. There's only one of you, right or wrong, right? It's only one of you, right? So what are the chances are you finding on your first, second, or third date the person that completes you or that's compatible with you, and you're this odd? Like, there's no one else. All the millions of people in the world, you're gonna find that person on the first, second, or date. You're gonna have to have a plan when you do this. So you need to identify what are your core values, because this is what's going to create cognitive dissonance, and this is where those big blowouts are going to come in at. But this is what people hide also. You may have, because when they're representative during the first 6 months of the date, like women, stop sleeping with men on the first 6 months to a year in a date. Why would you? Your body count ain't doing nothing but going up, and he's not the guy. And if you wait 6 to 8,
John, I don't know about all that now.
when you hold off, when you hold off 6 to 8 to 9 months, you're gonna find out real fast he's not that guy. He's not. He's gonna get swooned.
What if I say this? Why not?
That's a long time.
Why not
You
just say?
can wait 4 years. Use
Why-
your hand. It's
Why not
the
just
same.
say, like, don't go out with someone you don't see yourself sleeping with?
No, because it's
I
more.
would say don't sleep with someone you don't see yourself marrying.
See what I'm saying? He's more on the right page.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what I'm talking about. He knows how to date because none of that sex don't matter, my boy. You feel me? If you've been in one, you've been in similar. So the sex don't matter. It do not matter. When you look across from her, I promise you the sex is garbage when you dislike her. You're not even gonna perform well. You're not, your manhood ain't gonna raise to the right to do what it needs to do because you're so upset. You don't even want to go home. This is the real thing.
I just want to say that I've seen this and it's quite funny, but with men, if you sleep with a man on a first date, the woman doesn't want to be with you either. Women know you have to wait before you sleep with them. So like, just want to put that out there. Like, that is a well-known fact. If a woman sleeps with you on first date, she don't see no future. And I don't know why she does it. It's not something I've ever done, but like that, I just want to put that out there. Like, if that's happening,
in the end, the man got
and
the man gets it exactly what he
well
wants.
aware.
I mean, I guess it's an equal exchange, but
I am talking about legit past the whole first 6 months, and there's a reason I said 6 months because it takes 6 months to a year before a person reveals their true self.
That's true.
You'll go
what's going on, man?
doors to bitch, can you keep up? You need to see that before you go dapping your legs to this man. Or if you just want to get, if you ain't really looking for no man, and you don't really care, well, by all means, sow your oats. But if you actually looking for a dude, you better make us wait past 6 months because you just talking to our representative. You are still like the first 3 months representative, 4 or 5 months. He falling off, but he's still there. Month 7, oh, now you're gonna know what you got by month 7. By month 7, you'll know what you got if he even still around. If all he wanted was sex, he'd have been gone after month 1.
You know, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Let's let E Black make a point real quick. What's going on, my man?
E Black, what's up?
What's going on, guys? Y'all sitting here heated, man. I love it. I love it. I guess you guys said the S word, and that's where it got off the red.
What? The submission? No. There's been a lot that's been said, man. There's been a lot. There's been bisexual was the word, right?
Pretty good compared to some panels I've seen.
Yeah. You guys have been doing really good. You know, I just want to chime in on the point that you guys were kind of making in terms of dating. I guess what you guys are saying is dating with a purpose. Am I too off base?
No, that's right.
Date with a purpose and a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what. That's pretty much how it kind of goes. Is like if you were looking for somebody you date with a purpose, but a lot of times people don't understand at what time are you really truly dating with a purpose, you know? Like, I remember I was 25, 26, and I was just like, I knew what I wanted, but at the same time I had needs. So I was willing to kind of deal with somebody and work with somebody. So, for women it's different. I think you guys really don't have a lot of leeway. Like, you guys have a lot of personal responsibility. Of course, there's the pregnancy, there's HPV, there's a numerous other STDs that you guys can get that are yeast infections, stuff like that. So, I mean, for men, in terms of that, it's kind of like you're constantly searching. So, dating with a purpose is definitely important. I'm sorry, I'm in my finals groove, and I got my Warriors jersey. I'm trying to get my my team to get some magic rubbed off on them. And I seen you guys were in a conversation. I was really digging with it, and I love when people talk about dating with purpose because I have a daughter, and I've wrestled with this in a lot of different ways in terms of how do I teach her the lessons that I've learned and how the lessons my wife learns without having her get too caught up in the sauce,
And that's where for me and my family, I have girls and boys. And so our plan was we would meet up with like-minded individuals, me and another man, and with my wife and his wife, we would have a conversation and do planned or arranged marriages simply because we know where this child is coming from. We know what type of, emotions and logic they're going to be coming with. So it's okay, look at the father and you'll know how the son or the daughter, or if they are together, then you're going to know how the son and the daughter is going to be. what type, and that's how it used to be. Like you go and it be a planned thing, or if it is like a relationship, it's always gonna be a relationship with purpose, like the brother was saying. But we don't do that. There's the purpose often is either sex or a meaningful relationship, not marriage, just something that's meaningful
to pass the time.
Yeah, and so but we do that with everything else. If we want a job, like compared to a man, if we want a job, we're gonna go to that interview for a purpose. And whenever we get that job, we're going to do something to keep that job. Most people go to work and be like, I hate this job. Man, every day I go to work, I have these issues. I don't like people there. I don't like this. But they stay there and they stay committed. But with a relationship, that's not the same. They act like they got another job lined up already. They've been, oh, you know what? This ain't working out. It's not what I thought it was going to be. Well, when did we discuss what it was going to be? That's where it keeps coming back to communication. It's communication first, then finances. And so I think it's an issue with listening and being taught how to listen. Because a lot of men, we'll say that the woman struggles with being able to listen. She'll talk, but she's not listening to me. And it can be vice versa for the woman as well. Like she also feels the same thing. But if nobody is listening, then nobody is getting anywhere. But I'll leave it on that.
E-Block, do you have any closing points, or anyone else would actually like to ask him any questions? Say something towards his statement. Say something about his jersey.
I want to know how did he approach marriage? He said he's a married man. He's heard our perspective. How did you approach marriage? Did you date with a purpose that evolved into what was your approach? How did you end up married?
I mean, I think my marriage is kind of like one of those 2% brackets of just trial and fire. You know, I met my wife at a very young age. We were 19, and you know, we went through ups and downs, a couple of black spaces that are not going to be televised or told, but you know,
she's not watching, I hope, right?
Huh?
She's not watching, hopefully.
Nah, but it's like, you know, we kind of came together, but I've always been a marriage-minded man. You know, that's just one of my things. I just knew, like, I was one of the few brothers that was out of my crew that wore condoms because I had such a self-responsibility. Like, I knew what I wanted. And then even when I dated, like, I tell people I can never really give people relationship advice because I've only had a few girlfriends or boyfriends. I'm sorry. Girlfriends.
You got another bisexual on the panel.
I meant to say that I've only been in a few girlfriend-boyfriend relationships in which we've been, you know, like that official title. Like I've always either casually dated, but I've never really committed myself to anybody fully. But when I did date or when I was out in the field, I had a marriage-minded, like I was literally saying, okay, you know, either I'm having sex with you or I might date you for a little while, or you might be a potential. And I treated all three differently. So in terms of how me and my wife got married, it was just like I said, I can't really give you guys a story that could say that relates to most people. It was literally last second. I was telling my wife the other day, like, you know, you were like a last second shot. Like you took your last second shot and it went in and it worked. And that was it. But in terms of how my mentality was during the time, you would never get the boyfriend title from me. You was not getting that. I was not committing anything unless you were cooking, cleaning. I had a real strict regimen of what I wanted out of a woman. A lot of women didn't want that, but they were okay with casual sex. And I did not want to be alone on Friday night. So we worked that stuff out, you know, so like, that type of stuff. But like I said, when I did date and I did meet potential people, I took those women seriously. A lot of the times the women would disqualify themselves automatically based on their standards, based on their habits, based on their situations, based on whether they wanted to prove a point. And I was just like, look, you're going to lose a guy. and I'm gonna have sex with you, but you're gonna lose a guy because I'm not gonna be staying long enough to entertain your messiness. And I think you guys brought that up a lot.
Yeah, we actually did. I mean, it's funny that you said that, how you were dating the women, which is like you saw one as I'm only going to sleep with you, one is I'd entertain my time, and one I'd actually try to see more. We just categorized it into two, which is I'll sleep with you and I'd actually take you home to meet the parents.
Yeah, but let's be honest. There's some girls that hey, you're fun on Friday nights. You have a great conversation.
Hey, look at me, girl.
No, it's
no. He's saying the one you keep
good for
around.
right now. Yeah, like good for right now, not good for like
right now, girl.
Yeah.
Not look at me, girl. That's the one you just bang. The right now,
The right now, you have fun with them. They can have fun. You guys enjoy each other's time.
Yeah.
But there's a time limit for it.
You have common interests. You have common conversations. You might even work in the same area. It's just nothing serious, But that was like I was saying, that was the importance of wearing condoms for me, because those women come up pregnant. Those become situationships to where they come lifelong detrimental situations.
Yes, they do.
Right.
So but like those things, like. Just to wrap it up figuratively. Kristen, you childish, girl. But just to wrap it up, first, of course, it's sexual dating habits. You gotta have good, positive sexual dating habits. You gotta know how to date. A lot of times women do not know how to date. That's the one. Yeah, they're either all in on one. They're either your boyfriend, your girlfriend at day one, or they're sexually loose. Sometimes there's no fluidity in how they move. You know what I mean? Learn how to date. Learn how to protect yourselves. Date. Have standards. Like I said, I had a standard. Like I would always ask a woman, hey, what do you see yourself in life? And you'd be surprised. A lot of women would just be like,
I don't know.
And those type of women, and then not only that, ask purposeful questions. Do you have a job? Do you work? How do you make your income to pay for your apartment?
Back page. Back page.
Onlyfans.
Yeah, like
friends. You ain't heard, you ain't signed up.
Like I literally had, like, back when I was dating, I literally had like incognito questions to where I can figure out a woman's lifestyle, and I realized, okay, she's about nothing. She's just most likely she's moving from another boyfriend to me, and like I said, it's purposeful dating. You just gotta have a game plan in it, and a lot of times I don't think a lot of women do that. I think also dudes, they get so caught up and they get puppy love. And then they get caught up, lost in the sauce. And then next thing you know, a baby pops out. And now that's their girl. It's like, oh, you only had her because she's only your girlfriend because you got her pregnant. It's like, no, that's not a relationship. So I appreciate y'all.
Right. Awesome. Love bringing you up, man. Oh, shout out your channel, of course. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's do this. There we go. Shout out your channel, bro.
Yo, shout out, man. It's your boy E Black. I have a YouTube channel called E Black TV. Google it, YouTube it. I actually have an interview with No Limit Eddie that's premiered today. Go check it out. We talk about how to start a YouTube channel and how difficult it is to film across in Africa. So check it out. Clement, I already fuck with you, man.
Awesome. Appreciate you stopping by, bro. Let's keep in touch. I'd definitely love to have you back on the panel again sometime, man.
All right, man. I thought I was banned, though. Nah.
Not yet. Right, close.
Yeah. All right, take it easy.
Later, you Black.
Awesome. I can see people, some eyelids starting to drop. All right, so we're hitting the last stretch now. Okay. Most men find happiness in getting resources to provide for their family. Most women find happiness in building a family and nurturing it.
That's actually true.
Mm-hmm.
Anna.
Well, I believe it's true, though. I think ultimately, deep down, women do appreciate building families and nurturing it. And the thing is, I think we have to see nurturing in family, community in the larger sense now. I think that's where I think in both aspects, whether it's for men getting resources to provide, I think we have to look at the broader ranges now. But yeah, I think deep down we all want kind of that. Yet I do meet women who are not about wanting any families, and I think it's fine too. I think a lot of people should be very honest with themselves about that, about what they deeply want. I think it comes down to really, it's
Do you
really
think a lot of
relevant.
those women have been burned in relationships, and that's why they don't want that, or do you think
No,
there's some
no,
that
I've met women. It's like no, it's not for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they meet men that don't want children, and they're living the best lives of their life,
Yeah.
and they're happy as fuck. And it's like, and the thing is, I think it's just about knowing what you want in life. Whatever you're a man or a woman, just know what you want and how you want it to look like and feel like and be like, and then just meet that partner, whatever that case scenario is, and just live that. Period.
Mm-hmm.
okay? X.
I think it's true for the most part. Although, like, to Anna's point, someone like, to bring up my daughter, I've had this conversation. My daughter's young; she's 14, but for the past couple of years, when I try to talk to her about her future, as of since a couple of years up until now, she says that she doesn't care to have a family or to have children. Now I do, every time I have this conversation with her, I try to uh change her mind, because at the end of the day, I do at some point want to be a grandfather. Not too young, not too early, but I think that in today's day and age is more common, and at the end of the day, I think it's fine. I don't think that there's anything wrong with trying to find a different purpose. I think that's the most important thing, is to live with purpose. If you're not going to date with purpose, if you're not going to create a family, I think it's important to have some type of purpose, or something that's going to be fulfilling, something that's going to make you useful and valuable to society and to the world. And ultimately, I think that parenthood um is kind of one of the ultimate forms of uh, usefulness and value for human beings in general. And yeah, I do agree that men find happiness in providing, and having resources to be able to provide for their family, and potentially even generations. And you know traditionally, of course, women do find happiness in building a family and nurturing it. But I do feel like that dynamic is changing in today's society, because of all the reasons that I've brought up, previously today.
Okay, okay. Kristen.
I mean, I'm gonna agree with I believe Anna. I I think in general, like the majority of men find happiness in that, and the majority of women find happiness in building a family. But there obviously are some who don't, and who find happiness in the successful career, or don't even want a relationship. Just like I said, they are career driven, men and women. There are plenty of men, and you wouldn't question any man who's like, "Nah, I don't want that family. I don't want that relationship. I want to be the CEO of a company, and that's how I'm going to leave my legacy, by growing this and making this big company." So the majority, though, yes, I feel like the majority of men and women finds happiness in their respective parts, but not all.
Okay. King Bowens, I want to get through the whole panel, and then I'll pull you up to the panel. Um, who did I? Doc Hawk.
I was hoping that you were going to get the right name.
Never that. Not today, man.
I guess I waited too long, but I would have to say yes and no. I can't say for the most part that men find happiness in getting that. It's ingrained in us to be workers, to be hard workers, and to provide. And I can't say, like, for the most part, that women find happiness in building a family and nurturing it. Because statistics show otherwise. That's the reason why we keep separating, because of bad finances, bad sex, and bad communication. So I have to say no, not for the most part. I mean, it is there, but it comes, I could say, from like a young baby to maybe like 10 to teenager years. A daughter or a young lady really wants the she really has that nurturing side in her if she really embraces her mom. But from like that age, the mid-teen up to around like 30, it seems like a lot of the women are more or less like, I want to do my own thing. It's no like the nurturing, like a woman can't be in a family independent and also be thinking about building a family and nurturing it, because she wants to do her own thing. She has to build. And a man who's dealing with let's say not getting a job, or not being able to do not being able to be the provider, like it's way too common these days that a man is not the provider.
But is that man happy?
Huh?
Is that man happy? Like, would you say that man is the man who's not being a provider? Would you say he's happier than the man who is being a provider and has resources?
Well, it depends. I still sit to a conditional or a situational thing. It can go either way.
Let's speak in probability. The probability that most men would most men be happy in that position?
I'm just gonna leave it as I can't
Really?
I can't say yes or no, because a lot of men these days are lazy. They won't go out there and work hard now. And I'm not being against men. I mean, because women are they're too independent from men, but a lot of men are lazy these days. They've lost ambition because of the oppression of women. Once now, and let me hear me out why I say that. Now, someone had mentioned earlier about in the 50s and the 60s how it started off with a certain movement, but it was the women's rights movement. Before that, the black societies or the other societies, it was black power, it was Latino power, it was all these different things. But
that didn't come into the 60s. You got to get your decades. That didn't happen till way late.
Granted, in the 50s, all right, so I'll get the decades correct.
Mm-hmm.
In the 50s is when it started with the welfare. That happened because of the wars and because of children had out of wedlock. And in 1962 to 1954, that's when a lot of the women's empowerment movement started happening. It was less family power, black power, it was women's rights. And so and also there's a list of other things that happened at that time.
That movement started to overshadow the civil rights movement anyway.
Yes.
Why that movement started.
Huh?
That was the whole purpose of that movie. The movement was to overshadow the civil rights movement. And
Which
black women, the women's rights movement.
The women's suffrage movement that happened before the civil rights.
I'm talking about the women's rights movement.
The women's suffrage movement.
Specifically, that started in 1971. That one.
I'm talking about the women's suffrage that happened during the wartime, when the women didn't feel that they were being compensated for their employment, and then they started to engraft women of color into their movement. The civil rights movement didn't happen until the late 1950s into the 1960s or onward into the 70s. So the women's right movement started well before that.
The women's rights movement, the women's right movement as it relates to black women did not start in the 50s.
There was no women's right movement as it relates. It was the women's suffrage movement.
I understand, but that movement had nothing to do with black women.
It did, but they started to engraft.
And when they did that, what did they do to the black family? That's the point I'm at.
So I disagree, because the black family, the dynamic between the black family was different. In the black family,
no, you're saying the same thing that I'm saying.
No, but what I'm
saying, deteriorate in the 70s ultimately.
No,
I think that's what we're saying.
I would say deteriorated after the Reconstruction movement, when they started to destroy Black businesses and Black towns, and then families started to migrate, and men who started to be discouraged started abandoning their families. If you really want to go back, they had already were disconnected from their families back to slavery.
History though. That's not accurate, because whether it be
it is accurate. It's accurate.
Yeah, it is
very accurate.
It's accurate.
And they also put laws in place to make sure that Black men would be taken from their families and put into jails and make it even harder.
But listen to what you're saying.
For this, man. This is why Black men, Black women, when the masters who was trying to control us knew they had to get us away from them Black women. The Black women were always our support. When they would beat us down to nothing, the Black women would breastfeed the slave so that he can have that energy and strength to do what he needs to do. They knew they had to separate that piece from us, and they did everything in their power to get the Black woman away from the Black man. And
that's what I'm saying. Because to his point, it wasn't that the Black man just scurried away from the family. That's absolutely
did do that.
Because it was never the man that just left. It is now because the Black women.
Okay. This is very.
Didn't care.
This
they
is
knew
very
they
intense.
didn't care, but
I love it.
the other movement just messed it all the way up.
Hold on. We got a guest on the panel. King Bowens, what's going on?
Oh, I ain't see him.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing? Oh, we got a ninja.
Oh wow!
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean,
All right.
you know, as far as just the traditional roles of men and women in society, you know, that's been changed a long time ago, and I think that it's definitely affected society as a whole. And I think that it kind of made it where, you know, men and women don't even know how to really approach each other. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know how to really be, you know, on one accord or one string with each other. And, you know, what that just caused a lot of chaos and a lot of dysfunction. And so we already have a lot of broken broken homes in America. You know, so we already have a lot of broken homes. But outside of that, now when you have the men and women dynamic that's going haywire, it makes things a lot more difficult. You know what I'm saying? It makes it where men and women feel like they can't talk to each other. They feel like they can't, you know, vibe with each other. They feel like, you know, man, I can't really date the way I want to. I really can't socialize the way I want to because I don't feel comfortable being myself. Because society has made it where a lot of people don't feel comfortable or just expressing themselves or just being themselves or being on one accord. So we got to get back to, yes, you know, men and women respecting each other, and men and women allowing each other to be at our best. Yes, we got to get back to that. But we also have to get back to the point where we are showing love for ourselves, and we're just doing the traditional things when it comes to our family and supporting our family. You know, a man needs to lead his household. A woman should not be telling you how to lead your household, brothers. You know what I mean? Step up, be a man, and lead your house the right way. You know, lead it with morals, traditions, and values, and stop looking for another woman or another man to lead your house. You know what I'm saying? Or your parents or whoever else to lead your house. Be a man, lead your house. And women, you know what I mean? When a man is doing what he got to do, support him, encourage him, love him, value him. Because there's not a lot of brothers around us doing that, especially in the urban and black communities. There's not a lot of brothers that's doing that, you know? So we need to support and love each other. And we also need to understand that we do have a lot of broken homes. A lot of brothers and sisters don't know what they're doing, and they're learning on the fly. And we got to be patient with each other. You know what I mean? We got to really be patient and love each other, for real. And that's my take on it.
Amen.
Awesome.
Great.
Oh, yeah, shout out to Knowledge and Relationships as well, my YouTube platform. Please like and subscribe. I'll be sending a lot of y'all messages about, you know, our platform. I already sent some of y'all messages.
Shameless plug, huh?
Thank you. John, Extra Professor, I see you, brother.
All right,
and Christian as well. I see you as well. Thank y'all so much for showing your love and support. With that, I'm out.
See ya.
Have a good one, brother.
Yeah.
The ninja just disappeared. Awesome.
He just went into the dark.
All right, I got one last reaction quick reaction video, and then we're gonna end on our last question, and then I'll bid you guys a good night because I know all of you guys are tired. Cool.
Just getting started.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I heard. I had to calm you guys down a little bit. Jeez.
Hey, I'm impressed with Kristen, boy. Kristen, I was like, hey, Kristen know her Black history. I see you, girl. Oh, Kristen's like, no, it was this one. I'm like,
well, yes,
you're
right.
right.
All right, so this is from Fresh and Fit. They're another podcast. Ladies were on there. They watched a video where a lady was explaining that growing old by yourself is really not all up to as chalked up to be as it is, and this is her reaction to watching it. Thumbs up if you can hear it.
What's your take on it? Agree, disagree? Doesn't not congruent with your life?
Being a single person.
Speak your truth, man.
It's not you guys triggering me. It's just like, it's really hard to take care of myself after being with someone for so long and giving it your all. And I know that I want to find someone's to share life with, but I'm at a point where I'm valuing myself, and I didn't put myself in this situation. I didn't choose to be where I am, and it's just like trying to get back on my feet to find the people that I can vibe with. I resonate with what she's saying. Like, the part that hit me most was doing it all on your own. Even though I don't have kids, I'm just here taking care of myself. It's hard as fuck. It's lonely, and there's nothing more that I want to share life again with someone that will like be there for me and appreciate me and value me, all parts of me. Right.
No, it's fine. Thank you for being honest. A lot of women would not admit that. They would not. They would say, I'm strong and independent, and they'll fight it to the grave. And thank you for being honest and vulnerable. And I have an opinion on this, a take on this, which I'll give you guys some factual data after. But what's your take on that?
That's a pretty long video, but I wanted to get a quick reaction on that. What do you guys think?
That's about how I go.
Say that again, John.
That's about how I go.
Mm.
Yeah,
you think for both men and women? For both men and women? Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, for men and women.
Yeah, I think men will react a little differently, but at the end of the day,
I don't see no man up there crying and stuff like that. Talking about how hard it is, because you to provide. If you got to provide for a family, you by yourself, it's a lot easier for you to provide just for you. But it damn sucks, boy. When I tell you I can't wait till my wife come home, I'm telling you it sucks bad, boy. Like when I get off of this damn podcast, that's it for me. Who I'm gonna talk to? My son don't want to talk to me.
Oh, I call you sometimes. All right, we're buddies.
All right. And how long do I keep my lonely ass keep you on the phone? Tell the truth.
I hang up on you sometimes.
Hours. It sucks. I mean, it sucks, man. You want somebody to do stuff with, you do something cool happen to you that day, no damn body to tell it to. You tell it to your son. Wow, that's awesome, Dad. I'm like, man, shut up.
They don't care to hear that.
And then I'll follow your dad. That's awesome. Whatever.
Maddie's gonna call you.
Yeah, that's my other buddy. Yeah, she'll call.
I think back in the days, those type of things were always kept in the back of the mind before someone decided to separate. They're always like, "Hey, this person provided this for me. I felt like I was being sheltered, like I was being protected." I mean, that's what I assume that every young girl thinks of as she's leaving away from her father, as she's underneath her father's shelter. Oh, I'm being protected. I don't have to worry about anything. And that's why the father is supposed to give away the daughter to someone who he feels is able to protect her. And she also feels the same thing.
Right.
And with the girl on the video, she's showing like she's being honest, like, she was like going into convulsions because she was scared. She was confused because all of these things was being given to her. I'm not sure if she had a job or what she's had, but
no, she had a job.
It might.
She just she was in a relationship or marriage for like I think she said like 15 years or something like that. So like all of
it's
her
more
20s,
than just
she was like,
financial.
yeah, no, it was like emotional.
Yeah, there's an emotion with
with
that.
this
Well,
person.
that's because
Like
we
it was like
usually,
18 to like her mid 30s.
Yeah,
that's
She was like
because
her mid 30s right there.
whenever we get married, we don't understand that we become the person that we're with.
Exactly.
And like whenever you try to separate from that, no matter how you try to play, men can try to play tough as well. I've been divorced before, and I know how it feels to separate from someone, and that
tough.
is a horrible scar, a really painful scar that they have to deal with day by day, and you have to try to recover.
Years to find out who I was.
Years.
Yep.
I separated from my daughter's mother. It's been this summer's 10 years ago, and I'm still dealing with recovering from that. You know what I mean? Because
It's funny, and they say men move on so quick, but I think men move on far.
You can move
women
on physically.
move on far quicker than men do.
You think so?
I'll leave it up in the. I can leave it up in the air. It depends on the.
I think it all depends on the person.
I think it goes to that like very common meme where immediately a man after a breakup, you see him partying, having fun with his dudes, and a woman's crying, eating ice cream at home. 6 months from now, the man's crying alone because his friends got girls, and then the girl's out partying trying to find a new man. The guy, it takes a lot longer for it to hit him, but when it hits him hard. The girl processes it, and then is able to move on, I think, quicker emotionally.
You know what? In my experience, I feel like that's kind of true. You know, I feel like when I broke up with my ex, I feel like that in the beginning she was much more like hurt and trying to make things work again versus me. I was out there trying to have fun.
Done.
And
checked.
What was that?
You were mentally checked. You were done.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but at the end of the, it's at the moment. But then you realize, like, and obviously, like having a child with a person makes it a lot more complicated, and a lot more difficult to just leave it behind you because it's not. It's always going to be there.
Well, I think for me, like it wasn't necessary. Like I could say it was immediate, but since I'm less emotional, it could be masked with other things. Like if I was drinking or whatever, like all that goes out the window. If I'm with my friends, all that goes out the window because if we're talking about if me and the guys get together after I get divorced, not that I'm getting divorced now, but hypothetically, me and the guys, we're not gonna sit there in a little huddles crying together. We're gonna go party. We're gonna go have
some buns
fun
tonight.
And and we're gonna go have fun to get our minds off of that, and that's gonna last for a certain amount of time because we'll find something to entertain us. But women are they're less like that than us because we'll muster it up and continue fighting. But that's part of what a woman and a man has invested. So a woman thinks more intuitively and thinks a little deeper, and so she sees it differently. She's thinking more. Although we're logical, our ideas is like, man, forget it, man. I still got to go work. I'm still going party. Forget it. She did this to me, and now he's using his anger and is fighting against the pain that he has until there's nobody else to hang out with. His homeboys got to hang out with their girlfriends. Now he's like,
now
he's left to deal with his feelings.
Yeah. The hurt, the pain.
Yeah.
Anna, you've been like a statue. What's going on? What do you think?
Well, I'm listening. I'm just listening to everybody who has to say. The thing is into the aspect of women dealing with their emotions or man going out partying, it really comes down to the coping mechanism of each and every individual. Of course, men are more, I don't know. I think it's also like your tribe, the way they support you. I think women, they just want to support it. Like, do you need to talk? Do you need to cry? Do you need that's the kind of support you do have with your girlfriends. And then there's men. It's like, no, let's go party. It's like, it's really the tribe, the environment, and of course the way you cope. But I think it's really personal to everybody. When I left my last relationship, I was done already in my relationship. So in my mind, it was done emotionally. I kind of already went through this separation emotionally. So when I actually ended up alone,
it was nothing.
But the thing is, I'm good with myself. I think also this is
You
where when
ended
you
it,
are
right?
alone,
You
it's
ended it.
what
You ended it. Yeah.
I ended my relationship. But it really comes down also is like, how good is your relationship with yourself? Because I've been working a lot on my relationship with myself, of enjoying more myself as I am in my own, I would say, my own environment. And then it's like the tribe, the people that will come into my space, they're going to support that same energy. A lot of times when you are, and if I go with the story, she married young. So has she been in some sort of position of having this relationship with herself? So after 15 years of a married relationship, now this kind of identity kind of pulls out of her life. Like, of course, it's kind of shattering, and everybody copes it in a very different way. So I think a lot of experiences, it's really different. People cope differently in different experiences also. And the thing is, I don't think we should just judge upon that. It's just letting people live that experience in their own specific way. But yeah, that's just what it is.
I mean, I do want to comment on, like, I think
You're a little low.
I do want to comment that I think, like, a certain amount of, once you spend a certain amount of time with, like, another human being, like men with women, women for men, like, you are losing, like you shared so much time. Like, if it's over 2-3 years, you shared so much of yourself and time that, like, I'm speaking from experience. I just, I had left a very long-term relationship, and just, you planned on spending the rest of your life with that person, and now, like, the rug is ripped from underneath you, and you have, like, you're a different person than who you were before you started dating them. So you still have to re-find yourself, because all the growth that happened in the relationship, and then who you are now. And so it is hard. It's hard to, like, figure everything out. And watching that was kind of hard, because it's like, yeah, like, everyone has to do that, whether it's been 15 years or she married young into her 30s. You're a completely different person than who you were when you first started dating, and then you have to go on yet another journey, and then you have to start dating again, which is so not easy and not fun to think about. Like, oh, I thought I found my person. Well, looks like I guess not. And now I have to tell everyone about my embarrassing stories and, like, show that vulnerable side of me to yet another person. And that's hard to think about too. It kind of scares you. It's like, do I really want to put myself through this again? But you want to.
Because you got
That's the hard part. That's the hard part about getting back into it after spending a long time with someone. It
like,
is.
you got used to that person. That person got used to you. Now you have insecurities that are gonna come into play because this person, you don't know this new person, and then you get frustrated because, like, damn, do I even want? Like, I really don't want this. Like, and you just give up sometimes and stay single for a minute, like for a hot minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's easier to just say, like, I'm just gonna stay single, just because.
That's the easiest. That's the safest place.
It's the safest thing. It's the safest thing, but
it's also, it's also a time to reflect and to work on yourself. And
I mean, I feel like at some point we keep saying that for well past the point of actually working on ourselves, and it's a lot more of a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But you have to be ready to put your, because, like, like, I think we all agree, we're all saying it is a difficult thing to throw yourself back into, because at the end of the day, I'm not sure everybody's age here, but I think I would assume everybody's over 25, and under 25 is easy to date. You know what I mean? Like, even even under 30, like, I feel like it's easy to date.
I mean, I'm just at the door, but I wouldn't say it's that easy.
I mean, for me, like, I'm 35 now, and I've I feel like I probably haven't been dating like I used to, probably for like the past like 3 or 4 years, give or take. But and I do feel like, 27, 28, I feel like I was still, there's still a lot of enthusiasm for it. But then as you're out there, sometimes you do have to kind of pull yourself out to kind of, throw yourself back in, because there's a recalibration that you have to go through. And you're right. I feel like there is a moment where you kind of just get tired, like fuck, I'm tired of
The
doing
dating
this.
game changes as well.
It does.
It's like it's when you got into the dating, when you found your person, you thought who was your person. Years went by that you weren't in the dating game. But while you're dating, you got to be constantly like keeping up with like what actually attracts women, what they like, where you got to be, how you got to. It's you got to be good at it. It's a muscle that you have to constantly keep working out.
Sure.
And once you stop doing it for a long time and have to rework that muscle out again, it's sometimes it's better. I don't want to work out. I'm good. I've gained my comfort weight. Like I'm good with that.
When I got divorced, that was my issue. It was like, oh, I'm back out here again. Dang it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
now I gotta try to spray myself good. Gotta make sure I dress good. Make sure
I gotta shower twice now. Oh,
yeah,
twice a week now.
Maybe that's the thing. We're trying so hard to be something. I just want to add something. It's funny because I see it in such a different way. It's like I don't do anything to like. I am who I am. I'm going to put myself out there as who I am. I don't need to look a certain way. I don't dress a certain way to please anybody except myself. That's where I come in with having this really good relationship with thyself, of saying, what?
I think it's different for men and women. Just looking at you now, like, you're an attractive woman. You seem to take care of yourself. And so, it's always the man's job to approach you. So as long, even if you're looking good just for yourself.
Okay. I do approach men, actually. So
okay, well,
I'm not
kudos
afraid
to you. Kudos to you. But
I'll sing. Like I'm not shy to like, hey, like there's a vibe going on here. Let's talk. Period.
We can see it within even like the animal kingdom, though. It's usually the guy that has to go and spread his wings, do something to try to attract the woman. Not saying, because even in in the lion kingdom, the woman will attack the male lion, saying, "Hey, look at me, come get me. I'm ready. I'm in heat." But then again, it's usually traditionally the guy that goes for the girl. So it's really just dependent on, I guess, one's family structure or their history or tradition that they decide to follow. But traditionally, I've seen it as the man going after a woman, having to present himself in a certain way. But if, like with presentation that we spoke of before, with the chick that's in a car with her chest out, if that's where she feels comfortable, if that's what she likes, a guy is already going to put her in a certain category. He's going to be like, oh, she looks nice, titties, Jesus. Oh, she might be a hope for Jesus in the church.
I definitely get what Anna's saying.
But actually,
I definitely understand what Anna's
the
saying.
Animal kingdom, most animals, especially male, will have colorful plumage and stuff like that. They're really colorful usually. What they'll do is like they'll eat certain things to make themselves brighter. So they take care of themselves. So then when they actually showcase whatever they need to showcase, because there's different animals, different ways of doing it, and it's like it's a whole phenomenon. But it's they're actually showing their true color, and they're just showing their skills, they're just showing their confidence, they're just showing their vibe, they're just showing them. And then the female chooses to mate or not.
I mean, but they do show it, but they do show it to attract the woman. Like, like let's say like a peacock. I don't know if you guys follow Tony Baker at all on on Instagram. He has this this video where there's like this peacock, ruffling his feathers for the girls. Like, you see it, you guys have seen it. I don't know if you've seen that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's where the term peacock can come from.
But yeah, exactly. And so like you see this bird just jumping out in front of this female bird, and she just completely ignores him. So he like moves over and he jumps out at her again. And ultimately that's what you're talking about. But he's being himself. He's showing his true colors, but he's doing it to get the woman.
I understand where you're getting, but that's the female masculine energy here again.
Yeah, of course.
Female receiving, male giving. So, but it doesn't mean that a woman cannot signal, because I believe in signals.
Of course.
Like,
Of course. That's a
like
woman's
little
power.
bit
Like
of
an animal showing you.
Anna, do you think
that's a signal for a man to step forward?
Do you think most women know how to signal nowadays?
Well, I think this is some, I don't know. For me, if a man is not willing, I give him a signal and he's not willing to step up. Well, I'm like, for me, it's like, well, you're just damn insecure. I have to be honest here. So it's like, is it really the type of relationship I want to get into? Naturally not. So it's like, sometimes I think this is where you can see a lot of things happening and then decide if it's a fit or not. It's in everything. It's in business, it's in content creation, it's in the market, like supply and demand. It's like everything is around that. That's just how life is built. But I believe it's just about just owning who you are, show your true colors, and be honest about who you are. And then it's all becomes an invitation. That's how I see things. Same thing I do with my business and clients. It's the same way I am available for men, but it's like, I'll give you my VIP invitation to this amazing party. That's myself. And you're in or you're out. Same idea for a man. Man will send out their invitation and the girl is in or then out. But it's at the end of the day, it's not about showing or proving, or it's like, just be who you are and you're going to vibe or not. I think we put too much pressure on each other to be a certain thing. Exactly like women, they go get some plastic surgeries. They try to have their hair a certain way. They wear a certain makeup. They dress a certain way to always appease some part of I don't know what, but it's like this kind of
what they think society wants.
But even on that note, though, we'll see that once and it's not a woman against a man thing when I say this, but we'll often see a woman get into a relationship. And after that 6 month period, that we talk about, they start letting themselves go, or they start relaxing and pulling back away from that thing that attracted the man.
Men do it too.
Men do it too.
And that's why I said it's not a man against a woman thing. But to that point,
people get comfortable.
It's called happy relationship way.
Yeah. Okay, but so what's wrong with that? I've seen two fat people who were skinny before, and they love each other just like they did when they were both skinny. They didn't give a damn what nobody else think.
That's relationship weight. You gain weight when you're in a happy relationship. I don't care what anyone says. If you're in a happy relationship,
I'm in a happy relationship, and
I say comfort weight makes me feel better.
Well, so everybody has different standards when it comes to fitness and health and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
what they want.
Some people get together. If you got two people who are into fitness, then they can have that journey together. But
that's me and my wife. We're both into fitness, and
that's a big selling
I can understand you guys. Some of you guys, whoever's saying to the other side, I can understand it, but that's just not the way I see it.
Right.
I can't completely comprehend, but I can see what you're saying.
I like what Ella was saying, because there was a point that I was talking about. People don't know how to date. That was who I was transitioning to. Like, you need to put who you are out there up front, period. And Clement, we had this conversation, and you just heard it from her, of who's a female, that exact same philosophy. I will approach a woman the same way I would dressed in a suit as I would dressed in house shoes and some sweatpants with this beanie on.
That's the difference.
And I like her. I'm gonna go to her because this is what you're gonna get. This is what you're gonna get. When I go out to the store, this is what I put on. You need to know that.
And the problem, and that's great, because you don't see dating as a game in that sense. You just see it as something that exists, as something that we need in order to progress in our relationship life. But I think several times on this podcast, just today, several of us have called it the dating game. And a lot of it is a game, and you kind of have to learn how to play it. And I agree with you, John. Like, at the end of the day, like that's part of the problem with dating, is that it is a game.
That's how you get the damn wrong person. I agree.
So what X is saying is pretty good, though, because it's like, yes, it is the game. But what John is saying is that he stepped away from it being a game, and he just stepped in it as himself.
Period.
Yeah.
And that's like, no matter where he's going, he's still gonna be that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and that's why he's gonna keep stepping up to every single person.
That's the way to win the game.
Yeah, that's
I
how you
want
win the
the
game.
girl
You don't
who
play the game.
compliments me. I want the girl who completes me. And it's natural. She ain't gotta change shit. She ain't gotta do nothing. Because when I said identify what are your core values, they cannot be different than your partners. Because cognitive dissonance is a very real thing. These arguments, they last all fucking day. They go all long month. You people want to go away from each other. They are very serious arguments. So if you have a like-minded person, meaning you have asked the questions to see how y'all align mindset-wise, then y'all share internal beliefs. Me and the girl I'm going to marry, we share internal beliefs. Our internal beliefs are aligned. They're exactly the same. We're compatible physically. We both do martial arts. We're into that. I don't really care about lifting weights. I just got on this kick. But guess who's doing it with me? She is. I didn't ask her to. She just do it. What I'm doing, she was like, okay, since I know this is going to be a journey for you, you want to change your lifestyle, I'm going to support you. I'll learn how to cook like you need to be cooked for, and I'll send you the videos of me working out, and you do the same. Bet.
That's
so
team, man.
You understand what I'm saying? Teamwork make the dream work. But I ain't have to coach her to this shit. I ain't have to talk to her about none of this. It's just the way it is. But when you got to coach and you got to talk, baby, now you know you need to go to the gym. You were sending the fuck out this woman because she don't want to go to the gym. Like, you were making her nervous. Like, she believes that you should love her exactly the way she is. But if you know you can't love her exactly the way she is, why are you with her? Why did you get this girl? Well, she had everything else I like, but she didn't have something that's going to put you in cognitive dissonance. You don't like a fat woman. You're afraid she's going to be fat. So let her go to a man who don't give a fuck. Don't you break her. Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to fucking break her. And at 40-something, she's going to be broke as hell. And some dude going to come through there and she's going to run off about 10 or 15 dudes who could have replaced you because you broke her back when she was 25 or 30 and you should have just left her alone.
And that's where I agree. Me and my wife I was a personal trainer before when me and my wife first met. But after our first child together, like, she gained a lot of weight and I had stopped going to the gym, and so did she. And so, like, she was really pressing about getting back into the gym. I was about studying different topics. And so, but me and her came to an agreement. It was like, you know what, let's go to the gym together. I mean, we both really liked it prior to our little ones. So let's go to the gym. And so ever since then, we've been going to the gym together. It's all, like I was going to say earlier, like as far as relationships goes, it's always about communication and compromise. Seeing what you're able to compromise on. Don't compromise on foundational things. That's where we need to communicate, find out what are those foundational things that's going to be deal breakers. We don't recognize, we're too head over heels for emotions that we don't recognize the red flags. Like this guy, he talks Christian, but he's Muslim. Or this girl, she wants to be in have a certain business, but she has a side job as one of them OnlyFans. She wants to be reputable, but she has OnlyFans. That it doesn't
she have the Jesus piece, but she got the titties out.
Yeah.
Right. And don't be afraid if she's not meeting if dude is not meeting your standards, or the female or a woman is not meeting your standards, don't be afraid to move on from that. Bro, this is when you move on from that. That's where it goes back in again. You got to be comfortable with who you are. Know what you want. It's okay. What did I say when I first got on this rant? You are very unique. How in the hell do you think you're going to find somebody who mesh and jive with you to the point to where you have a successful marriage just like that? So you think the next motherfucker you go out on a date with and he don't mess up? That's all y'all marrying because he didn't mess up. Like,
yep.
He ain't never done nothing. He pay all my bills. He do my
last point, and then we'll do the last question.
He always hit me with the last point.
Wait. This
all right,
just
so
hit
like
me.
I know
The
it's about to be
girl-
a half
wait,
hour last point. That's why.
Did the girl with the titties, was she wearing a Jesus necklace?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not see
See?
that.
I didn't
All right,
notice
so
it
yeah.
either. I'm
Yeah, the
taking
black girl
I'm taking
also wearing-
Montavious' word for it because I didn't see the Jesus piece.
I
All I
didn't
saw
see
was
it.
titties.
I didn't
I
see
saw
it.
titties.
Like I said before,
big
dude.
tasteful nails, I was done looking. I was like,
Well, I can admit when I first looked, I looked down at the chest and then I went up to her face.
I
So
saw
like,
yeah.
and
I saw
so
the nails,
I saw
like,
that.
man, she was
I saw a
non-professional.
chest and the
The
lips.
only reason,
That's kinda
the
all
only
I was
reason
looking
why
at.
I do that is because I'm a photographer and I always go to the focal point.
I gotta become a photographer so I can see that too. God damn.
I go to the.
I'm sorry, I'm staring at your chest. I'm a photographer. It's okay.
It's not. You're flipping it all up. The reason why I say that is because everybody they don't really see it. Whether you go into a room, whether you go to somebody's house, there is a focal point that if you want to be successful, they're going to be focuses that everybody should have. Even in a relationship, if you're looking at a girl, you want them to focus on your mind, on your abilities to be X, Y, Z, and not your body. But for her, it was like focused right there. And then it took my attention, and I went right up to her face, like, yeah, she's right. She is beautiful, but she looks like a thought. I don't know what to tell her about.
Did you see her nails, bro? Bro, that's a.
I didn't see her nails.
I didn't see her nails either. I didn't notice.
She had the long nails. No, she had the long nails.
See all that.
I bet you if you dig deep, that girl is an OnlyFans girl.
That's probably the business she was talking
I
about.
think that's really bad to judge
assume,
somebody on that little bit that you saw to say
So,
that.
let me ask you this: How do you do?
Looking at her
roll
chest.
with nails this long?
I would say looking at her chest.
Listen, just because you have nails that long doesn't
naturally
mean you're
people
OnlyFans girl.
I wore my nails that long. I wore my nails stiletto long length. So I think that's
I would say it's a combination of things.
Yeah, I'm a professional. And I wore long nails. So I think that you can't really you can't be that narrow and judging somebody based on that little bit.
I can agree with John because I do agree that she looks like she's an OnlyFans girl, but it starts to get off tickers. I looked at her nails and I'm thinking about her nails now, and I'm like potentially ghetto. And then I look at her blouse and it's cut low to where I can almost see nipples. I'm like potentially OnlyFans or Pornhub. And
maybe that's not the case. It's probably not the case. She's probably not an only, but she looks like.
Listen, in reality, it's like you only have one chance.
It's like Montavious said earlier. If you dress like a cop and you go to the hood and nobody's talking to you, why are you dressed like a cop for?
That's like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle had a skit. Hold on. Dave Chappelle had a skit.
You're wearing the uniform of a hoe. Like,
So Dave Chappelle had a skit where he literally went around dressed as a cop.
I mean, take the advertisement down if you don't want attention.
Yeah, he went around dressed as a cop. And Dave Chappelle, he had a skit where he went around dressed as a cop. He was walking around and people were like, "Oh my God, listen, you're officer. Someone is robbing me. Can you help me out?" And he was like, "Excuse me, how dare you assume that I'm a cop just because I'm wearing a cop outfit?" Like, people are going to judge you by what you're wearing.
That's just perception.
And it's like I have friends I've gone out with.
I agree with that. I align with that. That the representation who you are should be reflected all the way
through.
That's correct.
I've gone out with friends that go out with with 3 or 4 big chains and you have tattoos and I have no problem with tattoos. I have tattoos, but there's a certain look you go out with, and when people ask you, "Oh, are you an athlete? Are you a rapper? Are you this or that?" You can't really get mad if they assume that because you dress the part. So it's the same thing with the girl that looks like an OnlyFans girl, stripper, porn star. That's just what you're representing. That's what you dress like. If that's what you like, sure, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. But that's what you're advertising.
When Anna tells me she's a business owner, I believe her. When Evangelist tells me she's a business owner, I believe her. If Kristen says she's a business owner, I believe her. Because they look the part. This is what they look like. Hold your nails up, Anna. Let me see your hand. You see that? You can work with those. Those are workable nails. You can type.
Of course,
with
I need to. I need to.
Like,
I wouldn't have like
when I say it was like this long, and you up here. I don't know why I'm single. titty out here,
But
nipples
what,
out.
what I want to say to you, John, is this. That's your perspective. You just said that from your perspective, I look like what I say I am. But there are people that are in the church that would say that I don't look like who I say I am because I have blonde hair or whatever. People have their own perspective of what you supposed to look like, and this is what you look like if you say you're that. You
Well,
go to the church and wear red lipstick. Some people in the church will say, well, you don't look like an evangelist with that red lipstick on, because people have, these dogmas.
But evangelists have a strict, like I know there's a theory, like makeup in general is a form of looking more attractive. And so I mean, if you're going to the church, evangelical church,
it's a form of individual expression. It's not it's about some people wear makeup because they want to enhance their natural.
They want to look more attractive.
They want to enhance their own beauty.
But that's part of that. That's like I get a haircut because I want to look more attractive. I want to look more presentable.
Okay,
that's the thing that's the thing. That's where I say, what's the intent behind getting whatever you want?
Right, and
I get nails because I like having my nice.
You feel and it's
right.
You might do it
this color because I like it. It's
because you want to look more attractive. It may not be more attractive. You may not be signaling to be looking more attractive for someone else, but you want to do it for yourself.
The intention. It's the intention. Do you do it because you want to, or do you do it because you like? It's like
when I went to the courthouse, I think it was last week or the week before, because I was going to file some paperwork or whatever, and like I went in there maybe like 3 times that week, and I saw maybe like the same sheriff, and we weren't supposed to have electronics or briefcases with us, but I had one with me. I had a briefcase and I was dressed nicely going there. And the officer came to me, was like, all right, I came to the doorway, and he said, no, you can't bring bags in here. Oh. He said, oh, no. He another one came over, was like, oh, no, he's a lawyer. He can come in. I'm like,
assumptions.
Yes, because of the way that I was dressed. I even had a briefcase, and I had everything goes by assumptions and presumptions until it's disproven.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No matter what. On that note, we're gonna go to the last question, okay? Because I know you guys want to keep going. All right. Anna was finally coming out of her shell. I'm sorry. Awesome. Love it. So, with the last point, with what the world is now and the discussions we've had, what advice would you give to your younger self? Kristen.
Oh.
You're nodding, so go for it.
I'm just gonna steal it from Anna. To be honest, just be yourself and stop trying so hard. Like, I just wanted to look good and be the perfect person that I thought that everyone wanted me to be, and I just need to be myself and find who I was within myself and stop trying to just So that's So that's the advice I give to my younger self.
X.
Man, it's hard to say something different than that, but like if I could give myself my younger self advice, I tell myself, just be more comfortable with who you are. Don't worry about what other people have to say, or even think. Just worry about what your future self has to think, what the people who are important to you have to think. I've said this on this podcast before. I guess this is always something I kind of think to myself is a quote I like, is you can do anything, but you can't do everything. So that's always a piece of advice that if I could give my younger self, I would give.
Anna?
For me, it's of course be fully you, but also accept you fully as you are.
Montavious.
We got it right.
Finally gave his
I had
damn
to,
name.
Your
listen,
name
listen, I had
in the
to,
beginning
You
of
got
the
your
podcast.
name.
listen, I had to give him to the last one, right? I had to.
You don't let go of your master's name.
I know, right? All right. So for me, I can't say I would give my younger self any advice, man. I've actually really enjoyed my life. I spend a lot of time studying and having fun, enjoying myself and pushing towards my goals. I've had a lot of success in my life. As far as I'm concerned, some people might not see it as success, but I've had a lot of experiences and a lot of fun. So I wouldn't give myself any information. I'd rather not go into any hypotheticals. I enjoyed my life and I wouldn't change it.
Empress?
What I would say to my younger self, girl, wait till you get to be a little older. You're going to turn out just fine. You are enough. You are enough. You may be too much.
And John?
Make sure you follow in my exact footsteps so you can meet the best thing that ever happened to you. So I have no regrets. None. I lived a very full life.
Lovely.
I love it. I love it. Listen, guys, we're going to do one last shout out to everyone's panel. Montavious, shout it out.
All right, thanks. Again, my name is Montavious, and my page is Law Library Audio Books and Discussions. I'm planning on maybe doing a podcast soon. I've already talked to Clement about it. You know what I'm saying? Got me bouncing. And yeah, just come and check me out. I'm going to be having a lot of different discussions, especially on the actual history of welfare and child support and all these different things like that and how it affects the system or us as a people.
Okay. Empress?
I am Evangelist Empress. I host a podcast, Faith Walk Life Talk Podcast. You can check me out on Instagram. I talk about all things women and all things Bible, women in the Bible. I also host a nightly prayer line. If you're a person of faith and you want to join a community of prayer warriors, hit me up on Instagram. The dial-in and access code is there. We pray from Monday through Friday from 9 to 9:30. And it was a pleasure joining you guys.
It was very fun. Very fun.
Yeah.
X.
What's up, everybody? I'm Xavier, aka X the Professor. Watch out for Bodega Barber and Peace, Love, and Hair Grease coming soon. And it was also a pleasure to be here. I think we had a great discussion today, great conversations.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Kristen?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, boo-boo.
You're on mute. That's your catch for today.
I'm on mute. Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm on mute. That we're good to go.
Anna?
So you can find me on Instagram primarily at anna.buto. And actually right now I just launched my new program, which is Activate Your Inner Blissness, to start doing business the way that you deeply desire and not actually have a business that runs you. So if ever you are interested, you can follow me there. And there's many other things going on that page.
Damn. All right.
All right, then.
And last but not least, my guy, John.
Hey, follow me on YouTube, Black Wall Street Trading LLC. The goal is to fire your boss. We can do some one-on-ones, and I'll actually teach you exactly what you need to know to be successful in the market trading options.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, this has been a great night.
drinking in the inner cities. They pissing in projects.